for 4 years, getting frustrated, sort of like what we saw with Dwayne Wade in the first game tonight.
You know, Sam Presti with some San Antonio pedigree in there, too.
Same idea.
You know, it was funny, Phil Jackson joking when the Kurt Thomas deal was done that P.J. Carlesimo, also with San Antonio background, you know, helping out his old team as Kurt Thomas goes to San Antonio.
Well, take your hat off to Seattle. They've done a fantastic job. They got a lot of expiring contracts. They're not any good. They got a bright future with Green and Durant. So they're just doing what they're supposed to do.
They could use a guy like Ray Allen and Rashard Lewis. No, I'm only joking.
I mean,
talking about two good players.
And then we, those guys really gonna enjoy playing in Oklahoma City.
Don't say that. Come on.
Wait, I read it in the paper.
Keeping it right.
You know, if I read it in the newspaper, it's got to be true.
And even the commissioner who told us earlier this year it would take a miracle said over the weekend there's no miracle coming.
And you know what? I really do. I think that's unfortunate and sad because those Seattle fans, they've always been fantastic. That was one of the toughest places to play in the NBA, and that's unfortunate.
Why is it, D.A.?
Yeah, well,
can you put it in a nutshell for the fan at home? Says, why are they going to? Why is it not working?
The state and the city and Washington State and the city of Seattle have decided they're not going to spend any money on the Sonics to build them an arena. That's the decision they've come up with. I asked David Stern during All-Star break if this was personal between the city and Clay Bennett, the new owner, and he said no. They did the same thing to Howard Schultz. They don't want to spend the money on the Sonics to build them an arena that they say
How
they
much
need.
does that affect an income of a city if a franchise is there? Not if they leave.
Well,
it
depends on the economic study that you commission. If you're for the team, you'll do a study that says it brings tens of millions of dollars to it. If you're from the city and you're against it, you'll say it's a negligible impact. It depends on who you ask, basically.
Well, first of all, I don't agree with all that. I think that anytime you have a professional franchise, it enhances your city. The problem with these owners been screwing these fans out of money for a long time. I think the owners should put up at least 50%, because they're the one who's going to benefit long term. Right. The biggest problem is they've been screwing these fans for a long time, making them build humongous stadiums, and then does the center benefit? Yes, but mainly the owners benefit. So they should always do 50-50, but I hope they stay in Seattle.
You saw Kevin Durant moments ago as he was getting loose. He missed the last game with the flu, and that's a game that the Sonics came back from 19 down in the second half and beat the Memphis Grizzlies on Tuesday. Tonight, they are in Portland to take on the Trailblazers at the Rose Garden. Portland 28-25, and they have slipped to number 10 in the West. Our owners of the longest winning streak of the NBA this season, 13. Kevin Harlan, Doug Collins going to call it for us.
Hey, they won.
The NBA trading deadline is come and gone, and in the wake of that, teams begin to adjust.
Now, we've been in this situation for the last 3 games where we've faced a team that has made a trade. Started with Dallas. Okay, they talked about the Jason Kidd trade. All of a sudden, those guys were there in uniform. Okay, we play Sacramento, our first game from the All-Star break. They make a trade. Okay, tonight, this team has made a trade. Each one of those teams have come out fired up. We got to be ready to play. We got to play with a sense of urgency.
A sold-out Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon for Game 2 of our TNT NBA doubleheader. It's brought to you in HD by the United States Marine Corps. Tonight, it's the Seattle SuperSonics with the #1 pick going to Greg Oden in Portland. The #2 pick was Kevin Durant to Seattle. Oden won't be back till next year. Durant having his effect on the Sonics this season. As we now take a look at our McDonald's starting lineup, and the Sonics led by Durant, the top scorer among rookies in the NBA. They've made some deals. We'll get into that a little bit later on. The Portland Trailblazers have lost 5 consecutive games in 9 of their last 12. They are led by the All-Star Brandon Roy, who comes off a terrific weekend in New Orleans. You see the backcourt combination of Jack and Blake. And Doug, one of the interesting matchups tonight will be Jarrett Jack guarding Kevin Durant.
Yeah, we talked to P.J. Carlesimo before the game about the matchup, as well as Nate McMillan. They said they really want Jarrett Jack to be physical with Kevin Durant. Get into him, make him work hard. They think maybe they'll try to take him down in the post to post him up a little bit. But Jarrett Jack very strong, And then they would like to, on the offensive end, get Kevin Durant involved in a lot of screen rolls, make him defend a little differently. Normally he's chasing guards off screens. They'd like to have him defend a lot of pick and rolls tonight, so we'll see how that matchup shakes loose.
Our officials tonight here in the Rose Garden in Portland. Danny Crawford is our crew chief with Eric Lewis and Derek Richardson. Cheryl Miller is with us tonight with Doug Collins, Kevin Harlan. The Sonics come in with the road record of 5-20. The Blazers at home are 20-7, amongst the best home records in the NBA, and they begin things with Stevie Blake working on Earl Watson.
Now, one of the things Nate McMillan said is we're going to get LaMarcus Aldridge down in the post tonight. He's been shooting too many jump shots. We've got to get something in that low post area.
And here is Jack, who played in the Final Four for Georgia Tech. The rebound is lost by Green, picked up by Prisbilla. Offensive rebound for the Blazers.
Now, defensive rebounding key tonight for Seattle. The first game, the Blazers 19 offensive rebounds, 22nd chance points as Aldridge knocks in the jump shot. And Portland is not a good offensive rebounding team, so P.J. Carlesimo told us before the game rebounding will be very important tonight.
And Doug, you think tempo for both teams will be important as well?
No, absolutely, because Seattle is a quick-hitting team. They're not a good half-court team. They want to get shots early, and Portland cannot shoot quick jump shots. They want to run for layups, get to the free throw line, but they don't want to get into a quick jump shooting contest with Seattle.
Here is Aldridge, who played in Texas, working on Petro. And Aldridge with a good move inside. Earl Watson has had a string of good games. Great rejection by Aldridge and picked up by Stevie Blake. He'll come the other way. Last year manning the point for Denver. Now up in Portland. And he works his way inside with a great feed to Prisbilla. And a whistle and a foul inside on the Sonics with 16 on the shot clock. And the foul goes on Wilcox, who picks up his first. As Doug, we take a look at your keys presented by Heineken.
Well, Kevin, you talked about a pace of the game. Seattle wants to get out and run. And Portland, when they score 100+ is 14-4, but they're not a quick shooting team. Three-point shooting, Seattle does not defend the three well. They get beat by over 8 points a game at the three-point line. Two teams, different agendas. Portland still in the playoff picture, although it's a slim chance, but they want to continue to get better. Seattle evaluating players, but still would like to be competitive. And then in the fourth quarter, Portland, one of the best fourth quarter teams in the NBA, and Seattle on the flip side of that, 0-19 on the road when they are trailing going into the fourth period.
It's funny, Doug, you use the word agendas because we're seeing a lot of agendas being reformed in the NBA with this trading deadline having come and gone.
And it's a very tough thing here to see Wilcox shoot the jump shot for P.J. Carlesimo to tell guys, look, we're going to be evaluating guys, but at the same time, we want to win basketball games. So that's a tough juggling act for P.J.
Look at the ball rotation. This is the all-star Roy, picked up on another offensive rebound by Aldridge, working on Wilcox. Aldridge over Wilcox, and the rebound is pulled down by the Seattle SuperSonics, who have obviously yet to score. And here is Earl Watson back to Petro. And down low by Wilcox. Rebound by Prisbilla.
Good to see how quickly Seattle shoots the ball. Portland does not want to get into that game, come down, drop it into the post here, and let Aldridge go to work. They double team, then free up an outside shooter.
Aldridge is double there. They brought Green, the rookie out of Georgetown, to assist. He gets it at the other end, works on Roy, drives inside. Rebound by Jarrett Jack, who was a starter last year, coming off the bench this year, starting tonight. And works on Petro and Wilcox, and a foul is called again on the Seattle SuperSonics. With 9:23 to play in the first quarter, Wilcox picks up his second foul.
Well, you look out there and you say, okay, Jarrett Jack and Steve Blake, really sort of two-point guards. You know, why are they starting together? Well, when you lose games, Kevin, sometimes you look through your team and you go, what's the one defining thing here that we're missing? And Portland really misses James Jones and what he brought off the bench, his three-point shooting, what he did for that second unit with Travis Outlaw. There's James Jones. And so Nate McMillan said, look, if I start Jack and Blake together, that'll free up Brandon Roy off the ball a little bit, take away some of his ball handling responsibilities. I'll bring Webster in the game with Travis Outlaw. I'll get my three-point shooting, some better ball movement, and I'll get some better bench production. So that's what Nate has done with this starting lineup, to be able to get Webster coming off the bench now with Outlaw in the absence of James Jones and what he brought to this team. When James Jones was healthy, this team was 22-8. They really miss him.
On the bench with a couple of early fouls here for the Seattle SuperSonics. winning 5 of their last 8. They've had a nice little stretch here for a team that has been so active in the trading market so far.
Well, they're one of the have-nots, what I call young teams here as Petro knocks down the jump shot, but they're the teams that can't go anywhere this year and are trying to dump salaries, get draft picks, and build for the future. Whereas the haves are all trying to get stronger and make playoff runs.
And have they gotten stronger, or at least made a change to the face of their organizations, as we'll talk about. Jack snaps it outside. Aldridge over Durant. Rebound is pulled down for a second time by Petro.
Oh, Aldridge has had about 3 shots go in and out on him.
Inside. Why has he been playing well for the Seattle team?
I think he's just getting the minutes now. He said that, figuring out where I can score within the offense. I don't think he's looking over his shoulder. Remember, they had Delonte West, Luke Ridnour, and him 3-point guards, and he's getting the bulk of the minutes now. So playing very relaxed. I mean, Kevin, in a 4-game stretch now, he's had a triple-double. He's had a game with 14 assists, and he's coming off a game the other night, 26 points and 9 assists against Memphis. But this is what he does well. He drives the ball to the basket. He's not your prototypical point guard. He's a slasher and cutter, a little bit like Jarrett Jack.
Petro picked up his first personal foul.
You're going to see a lot of zone from Seattle, especially on sideline and inline out-of-bounds play, just trying to change up the tempo of the game.
There's Aldridge, a second lead on the shot clock, and the rebound by UCLA's Earl Watson. Blake picks him up at the other end. Watson has started 46 of 52 games this season. Great picks inside. Collison works on Prisbilla and Aldridge and finds 2 on the double team.
See, I like Collison and Wilcox together. I think that's their best front line. Now, they do obviously miss the trading of Kurt Thomas, but they put Kurt Thomas in a situation now going to San Antonio where he has a chance to play on a championship team, and they really rewarded him for the time he spent here in Seattle and the great job he did here.
Over Green, it's Roy. Portland had missed their last 5 consecutive shots until that hit by Brandon Roy from Seattle, Pac-10 Player of the Year at Washington, Rookie of the Year a season ago in the NBA. Green is doubled. Collison lasers it inside. Petro around Prisbilla.
Nice active play. I mean, they really would like to see what this young guy can do. They're going to see Robert Swift later on in the game, who's really been laboring with a knee injury, trying to get himself in shape to see if they can evaluate him.
Over Petro, it's Aldridge, and the rebound is pulled down by Green. 3 of 10 shooting for the Blazers. It's an over Blake at the other end. Rebound by Roy. And the Supersonics, Doug, have gone 4 of 11 to start this game.
Well, they said they were going to go to Aldridge early. He's taken 7 of the first 10 shots for Portland.
A loss by Roy. Watson to Durant over Blake, who picks up the foul. Count the 2. Send Kevin Durant, the odds-on favorite to win the Rookie of the Year, to the free throw line.
This is when Durant's at his best and Seattle's at their best. When he can get in the open court and get the ball against a smaller guard. This time Steve Blake had no chance to stop that play. So when he and Jeff Green, they like to get those guys out early, give them a chance for early offense, because once they get into their half-court offense, they really just don't have the weapons to be able to score very well in that situation, Kevin.
But Doug, when the dust settles and the pieces are laid down and they begin to fit, where's PJ going to put Durant? What position will he play?
I think he thinks he has a chance to be a big guard. That's why they're playing him there now, really because of his lack of strength. But he thinks he has a chance to be a long, rangy, athletic 2-guard, a little bit like a George Gervin. And they hope Jeff Green will settle in and be their small forward.
Interesting. Watson is on Blake. Jack is left open. Durant didn't get back over there, and that was a wide open 3. Nonetheless, Seattle's on an 11-5 run over the last 2.5 minutes. I guess Durant has to figure out, am I going to guard the guy on the perimeter or am I going to stick down low? Here's Collison working on Aldridge.
I think he's always going to be a perimeter guy. I think just he's sort of that guy that you can shoot the ball on the perimeter. He can run the floor well. He handles the ball well. And, basically, PJ said we hope he's going to be, a freak 2-guard, one of those guys who's 6'9", who can do the things necessary. And then Jeff Green, a lot of time, has played out of the position as a 4-man. They hope that eventually he will be a small forward.
Webster is in. Jack just checked out for the Portland Trail Blazers halfway through this first quarter. Shot clock is down to 6. Durant working on Blake. Screen by Collison. Picked up by Martell Webster. He's also out of Seattle. Webster open for 3. Late arriving closeout by Watson. And the rebound is off of Prisbilla. And Collison will have it when we come back, in 5:46 to play. Here in the first, back and forth they go. 5 from Jarrett Jack, Blazers, and the Sonics.
Morning. There have been a lot of rumors and speculation about the amazing increase of my productivity. For the record, I'm not using, nor have I ever used, productivity enhancers. I've just been working hard and flying Southwest Airlines a lot, which has helped me to be more productive.
How long?
For the Zybrand presentation?
Yep.
Not the Printatech deal, too.
No.
Thanks, guys. That's it for now.
You're now free to be more productive.
The Lincoln MKC has two things you can't find on any other luxury car. Voice-activated sync for your music.
Play artist, motion worker.
And your cell phone.
Call Robert.
Sync powered by Microsoft, the ultimate software. And the ultimate hardware. J.D. Power & Associates' highest ranking in initial quality. Now drive Lincoln MKC with 0 down, 0 first month's payment, and 0 cash due at signing for $369 a month. From the fastest growing full line of luxury vehicles, Lincoln.
Sometimes even cold weather needs a refreshing twist. Miller Chill, the only light beer brewed with a hint of lime and salt. Chill is in the air.
If you want to quit smoking, today's your day. Commit Cherry Lozenges. Commit tastes great, works fast, and calms cravings even after the lozenge is gone.
The NBA on TNT. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the NBA. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. By Lincoln, reach higher. By T-Mobile, the official wireless partner of the NBA. T-Mobile, stick together. And by Never Back Down, in theaters March 14th.
Where we were all tied up at 11. Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl Miller, and it's time for the Lincoln Sideline Report. Well, looking at the second half of the season, there's certainly no room for error in the West. Now, even though the Blazers may have a slim chance of making the playoffs, there's still hope. This is what LaMarcus Aldridge had to say.
I think because people counted us out. I think, when they said Greg got hurt, they was like, oh, they're going to have another bad season and probably get another number one pick and things like that. And we took it as, we're going to prove people wrong. We're going to show them that, we have good guys here that can play and they can win games. And I think we're still trying to get into the playoffs. I mean, even as tough as it is, I think we're just trying to, get out of this little slump and try to win some games in a row and try to get into the playoffs.
All right, Cheryl, thank you very much. It's going to be tough for the Portland Trailblazers just because, Doug, the West is loaded. One quick substitution. Petro is out, and Swift has come in for Seattle.
Yeah, Portland, they had that one really unrealistic stretch, 13 straight, as we see Durant foul Brandon Roy on this little jump shot. But, they win 17 of 18, 13 straight. And I think the expectations all of a sudden were they're a playoff team. And, Kevin, they're not a playoff team. And Nate McMillan has done a fabulous job with this team. He's got some very young pieces. And the key for them is going to be continue to play every night at a competitive level, win as many games as you can, especially continue your home court dominance. So the next year when you get Greg Oden back, he's going to make up for the weaknesses that you have. You need another big guy. You need a rebounder, somebody who can defend in the paint. Now Aldridge moves to the power forward. Brandon Roy can play your two guard. Now all of a sudden you have three pieces of a championship. But that 117 in one stretch, that was amazing what they did. This 6-12 is a little bit below expectation, so somewhere in between is really who they are.
Collison was blocked, and then he takes it inside once again. Prisbilla was waiting, and Joel picks up a foul. That is the first on him. So how they finish will be important. But, Doug, if we would go backwards about 5 or 6 months, don't you think they would take this record right now? My goodness, what they've done this season, even with the little tease in the 13-game winning streak, has made already for a very much improved season for the Blazers.
No question. I was even kidding Nate. I said, Nate, if I would put 28 and 25 on the board right now and say after the All-Star break, this is where you are, with all that's happened, losing Oden and everything, would you take it? Absolutely. But when you have that one incredible stretch, all of a sudden people start getting ahead of themselves. And Portland is doing better than anybody thought they would do this year. They just want to continue to get these young guys better and better.
Durant watches Roy. Collison was there to double. Blake is left free to fire from three. Collison with the rebound. It's Watson and the Blake at the other end.
Earl Watson playing great basketball. Somebody's got to stop the ball. See, that's what happens when you're Portland. You got to be very careful that you don't want to get into this quick running game with Seattle. Seattle is a team that takes quick shots. You're not. You're a team that moves the ball from side to side, gets the ball inside, gets high percentage shots. And if Portland's not careful, they'll get into the game with Seattle here that they don't want to play.
Watson coming off the 26-point performance. He was 11 of 13 from the field. Doug talked about a little bit earlier in the Tuesday game against Memphis in a win. As a foul was called on the play on Swift, who picks up his first. He's coming off a major right knee reconstruction. He really has become the talk of the town in Seattle. They're going to give him a lot of minutes. They got to see after 4 years what they've got with Robert Swift.
Yeah, and he's really struggled coming back the other night in Seattle. Even PJ after the game sort of took the fans to task a little bit. Say, hey, this guy's working hard. He's going to get out in the game and he's going to struggle. He's got a lot of rust on his game right now, but we've got to figure out who he is to see if he's going to fit into our plans or not.
Channing Frye, who just checked in, throws inside to Aldridge. Checking out was Prisbilla. Here comes Earl Watson. Roy picks him up. Collison left free. A late arriving Aldridge, and two for Nick Collison out of Kansas.
See, I've always loved Nick Collison. I think the guy is a winner. I love the way he fits into the team. He brings that toughness inside. You see him now battling against LaMarcus Aldridge in the post.
Off the bench, he's already scored 5. As Collison and Aldridge, Doug just talked about it, there's a little shove inside and a foul. We're talking about the young players. The oldest guy there is Swift. Collison picks up his first. But look at how young this team is. Portland is the youngest in the NBA, but Seattle not that far behind.
And Kevin, with all the deals they have made now, when you look over the next 3 years, the draft choices these people have, they have 13 picks, 6 of them in the first round, 7 in the second. So, I mean, Sam Presti has loaded this team up with draft picks. They got to hope that Green and Durant work out. They've got to have draft picks. They're hoping to have money to rebuild this team. So, you know, Sam Presti has done a nice job here of trying to rebuild, and at the same time, now P.J. Carlesimo has the task of trying to keep these guys competitive every night while they're growing. And I think he has to be very happy what he sees with this trade and all that's going on. His guys that come out here tonight with great energy, and they're playing well.
Especially in the paint, they've outscored Portland 10-0. Has Seattle in the lane. It's Durant over Frye. Rebound collected by Brandon Roy. Played in the rookie-sophomore game on Friday. Roy shoots over Green right here. Swift with the defensive rebound. Also played in the All-Star game and was one of the leading scorers for the West. Here comes Watson the other way. Blake is on him. Blake part of that Final Four team at Maryland. As was Wilcox. Durant inside into Frye, who bumped him. So some attacking, driving Seattle offense tonight, Doug.
Well, that's what they want to do. Get to the foul line. You know, a lot of times, again, Kevin, they settle for that quick outside jump shot. You get to the foul line, you get a chance to calm the game down a little bit, and then they love to come back and get into a zone defense.
I can't even begin to explain how Chicago has shaped me. Back in the day, that was my ride right there, the L. Staying in touch reminds me of who I am. Really, my dream is to help others achieve their dreams.
The 2008 Lincoln Navigator. True power is wielded quietly.
On February 29th.
4 teams will be absorbed into the NBA next year.
Yes! For this team to go pro, they've got to eat right.
There's nothing in the rule book that says you can't play drunk.
Colorado sour all game long. Sleep tight.
Buddy, wake up. What is that?
Pancake. And train hard.
We are running this until we puke. I've never puked in my life. Have you ever been punched in the jejunum?
What's the jejunum? Semi-Pro, rated R. February 29th, only in theaters.
My wife was always getting on my case about smoking. She said, it's bad for you. It makes the drapes smell. She even threatened to stop kissing me if I didn't quit. I said, it's my lungs and it's my life. But I was wrong. I didn't quit. I had no idea the life I'd lose wasn't mine. It was hers. 'Cause she was my life. My wife was my life.
Hey, man, can you limbo with the Pinot? Shimmy to the Chardonnay or be true to the blue?
It's all in a hot night at the Oregon Convention Center. What you've heard is true. The Portland Showcase of Wine and Cheese brings out the fun in practically anyone. Buy tickets, bring friends, have fun, get down. Come to Portland's premier wine, cheese tasting, and auction to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Over 200 wines, cheeses, music, and one big auction. Tickets available online, call, or at Sherry's Restaurants. Limbo Low.
Blazers have led by as many as 6. Sonics have led by as many as 3. Doug, Seattle very active today, as these other teams too.
Well, look at Cleveland. I mean, LeBron James, I have not seen any of the comments yet, but I mean, you get Ben Wallace to come over, his championship experience. Joe Smith, who played very well as a power forward there in Chicago. Wally Szczerbiak, you get a big guy, a big small forward who can shoot the ball. And Delonte West. So, I mean, Cleveland has helped their team. Chicago, Larry Hughes and Drew Gooden, Cedric Simmons and Shannon Brown, probably throw-ins in that deal. And then with the Sonics, Ira Newell has an expiring contract. Adrian Griffin and Daniel Marshall both have 1 year left. So Wally was supposed to make about $14 million next year for Seattle. So you get that off the books. You have all these draft picks. And plus, let's face it, I mean, Wally Szczerbiak was not going to be in their long-term plan. So they have to take a look at Jelabal. They have to take a look at Durant and Jeff Green, all these young kids. Those are the guys that have to get the minutes at the end of this year.
Damian Wilkins has checked in for Seattle, as has Luke Ridnour, joining Swift and Durant and Collison.
One of the things that Durant will get better at, and you can see he's very thin right now, is getting to the basket and either finishing or getting to the foul line. Now he gets sort of redirected on his drives because of his lack of strength. But as he gets stronger, Kevin, you're going to see him shoot more free throws. He'll be able to get contact and draw fouls.
Swift watching Aldridge. Shot clock is down to 8. Webster into Durant and right by Collison. And a shove inside. Doug, some early numbers. Seattle is +10 in the paint, +5 in fast break points, and +3 are the Sonics in points off turnovers so far.
Well, when you look at Portland's scoring on the year, Kevin, they only score 31 points a night in the paint, which is 30th in the league. And they average 7 points in fast breaks, which is 30th in the league. So they don't get easy scores. So Seattle's a team, they get about 40 points a night in the paint, and they get out and run on the fast break. That's where they do their damage. They're 6th in the league in fast break. So they get in the paint, and they score in the fast break. And Portland doesn't get any of those easy kind of baskets. That's an area they're going to have to grow.
Fry picked up his second personal foul. Travis Outlaw has checked in. Seattle is on a 7-1 run right now. Swift on Aldridge. Got right out of high school, was going to go to USC, came right to the NBA, first-round draft choice. Injuries have taken 2 years out of his 4-year career.
And he really put on a lot of weight lifting weights, and I think right now he's trying to get some of that weight off because that's really not helping his knee, so he's trying to find a weight he can play at.
A 2 by Roy, late arriving Ridnour.
How about Brandon Roy? I mean, this young guy, I tell you, in the All-Star game the other day, Kevin, so impressive. Played the most minutes for the West, 28 minutes. Did a great job in the sophomore rookie game, and here he is with the steal right on cue.
Working on Wilkins. You're right, it was right on cue, and a push and a ball knocked out of bounds. Foul called on Damian Wilkins, assessed with his first. 1:45 to play here in the first quarter.
Now remember now, he only played 57 games last year. So when you look at the numbers this year, he has played 51 games. He's averaging almost 38 minutes a night. And Nate McMillan says we're finding out whether or not this kid is going to be able to play 38, 40 minutes a night for a full season. So as we continue to build our team, we can figure what kind of minutes we can get from this young guy every night.
Roy battling a viral infection. There goes Swift. He leaves the game. All of a sudden he is out. Roy also has an ankle injury. Friday, ESPN, Washington, Cleveland, Boston, and Phoenix. Saturday, NBA TV, New Orleans at San Antonio. That'll be a beauty. Sunday on ABC, Detroit at Phoenix. That's the national TV schedule. Portland from the line tonight is 3 of 8. What did you think about what Cleveland did today and how they at least on paper, appeared to improve themselves.
Well, I think that LeBron is probably happy that he's got some veteran guys in there now. That, I mean, he was carrying that team. Kevin, they have not shown all year long that they can win a game without him. They're 0-6. When he didn't play, their numbers are way down. And, you know, when you play with LeBron, you need shooting. You need some guys inside. And they've added that to their team as Damian Wilkins has come off the bench and knocked down a little jump shot. But they've added some, I think, some pieces that can help Cleveland.
Blake is out. Sergio Rodriguez is checked in, the second-year player from Spain. It's Webster into Collison. Durant watching Rodriguez. Screen and a switch on defense. Ridnour watches Rodriguez. Outlaw puts in a three. Right over Sene.
Now, he's not going to get,
Petro defended.
Now, Outlaw is not going to get the, sixth man of the year, but you start talking about guys. I mean, Ginobili had 44 tonight. You talk Barbosa. You talk about Jason Terry. And Travis Outlaw is a very good player off the bench, and that's what Durant does. I mean, he shoots that three so easily.
Durant has 8. No fouls to give either way. Webster over Durant. That's a three launch. Collison kept it alive, but Aldridge cleans it up, and Webster inside. Can't slam it in. Resets the shot clock. Roy for three. Durant again caught short-handed on defense.
Now remember, B.J. Carlesimo said we have to defensively rebound the ball. 3 possessions that time. They did not come up with it, and Brandon Roy knocks down the long jump shot.
And there's a difference of 4 seconds. The game clock and shot clock winding down the first quarter. Sonics at 43%. Blazers at 36% for the quarter. And Petro trying to wheel it in. Shoved on the playoff balance and a foul. He is part of the 21 feet of center this team has drafted. And not found much in return. Aldridge picks up his first. Petro at the stripe out of France.
Well, we don't know why Robert Swift left the game. Maybe we'll be able to find out maybe through Cheryl here real soon. But, a guy like Robert Swift, when you're battling to get back from injury, Kevin, it is so difficult to stay healthy. And I'm sure the, frustration of him trying to get himself back. Petro has shown some nice things here tonight. Much better offensively than I thought he was last year. And he looks like he's got some decent moves around the basket.
He was born in Paris, grew up in the Caribbean, played 4 years in the French league. Joan Petro. Just under 6 seconds to play here in the first. And Rodriguez against Ridnour. All knocked out of bounds in 1.1.
Rodriguez sort of a wild card for them off the bench. Has the ability to come in and pick up the pace of the game. He's had some games this year where he's gotten in the lane and had some big assist nights, but he really depends on those guys making shots when he can kick out on the break there.
Jello ball is checked in. Roy over Wilkins, can't get it to go. Roy finishes with 10 points. And our game is a 25-23. Seattle 2-point lead at the end of 1.
Hey, you know what? We could do that halftime show just as good as Charles, Kenny, and Ernie.
Who would you be, Pops?
Charles, of course. We're both good looking and well versed in the finer points of basketball.
Hey, well, I'm young and in shape, so I guess that makes me Kenny.
I guess that makes me Ernie. What you laughing at?
Satisfy your basketball Jones with the NBA and keep jonesing for Tyler Perry's House of Pain, Wednesday at 9 on TBS.
Very funny.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The first time I really played in front of a crowd was right here on Bourbon Street. That's St. Louis Cathedral. That's where I got married. Now this gets very emotional for me. I think in a matter of a very short period of time, this whole neighborhood is gonna look absolutely beautiful because of the Musicians Village. Hey, which one of y'all ordered the crawfish? My dream is to get the good times rolling again in my hometown.
The new 2008 Lincoln MKX, designed to inspire, ready to uplift.
We're not getting out, so we've proven Shell gasoline stops gunky buildup on critical engine parts that low-quality discount gasoline can leave behind.
Where's the next rest stop? Do you have... No. Go fish?
Look, Shell gasoline stop gunky buildup, helping your car to perform at its best. So you ready for another 5,000 miles?
Yeah.
Can we clean up first?
Now clean up the gunk inside your car too with collectible microfiber cleaning cloths. Free with a minimum 10-gallon purchase at Shell.
245 pounds.
Gone.
Gone.
Jared, for taking it off.
And keeping it off.
10 years.
Great job, Jared.
10 years and 245 pounds later, congrats, Jared. Happy to help with our mouth-watering low-fat subs. Subway. Eat fresh.
You're not bank robbers. That's why we could get away with it.
We're rich.
It's a princess.
This robbery's now a matter of national security.
You stole from me and from friends of mine. I'm changing the deal.
The Big Job, Ridnour, March 7th.
I got good news. Putting you in my fave 5.
This is real?
Yep. You in, baby.
Call me anytime.
Anytime.
Yeah, I watched the game from last night. Yes, sir.
You got to pass the ball more.
Now, I'm really in the middle of something.
I don't want to look too fat in high definition. You ever been to Amsterdam? That's why I don't eat shrimp. I want to come visit because I am really bored.
What is it, Chuck? What's up? Hey, Chuck.
Call me back. We got a lot to talk about.
Who's in your Fave 5? My fave's from T-Mobile. Unlimited calls to your 5 favorite people.
PJ, with all the changes tonight, you wanted the team to come in and be competitive. Are you happy with the way they responded so far?
Yeah, Cheryl, I'm very happy. We're doing a good job defensively. The one thing that was supposed to be a focus was keeping them off the offensive boards, and they got one the first possession of the game of the quarter, and then they just got one the last possession. But in between, we did a good job. I think our bigs are playing well. We're contesting them. If we continue to defend, we'll be all right.
You talk about defense. You said you also wanted to turn this game into a half-court game. Were you happy with the pace?
Well, we got back. We have to make them run offense. We can't run up and down with them. So hopefully we can get them into half court, but we got to do a job on the boards.
Thanks, PJ.
Thanks, Joe.
Here comes Luke Ridnour to begin this second quarter for the Seattle SuperSonics. Wilkins is out there. Tetro is out there. Jellaball and Collison, the Sonics 5. And no defense at all provided by Webster. As the shot was missed by Damian Wilkins. Excuse me, Doug.
No, Portland playing zone there, Kev. So they came out of the timeout there at the end of the quarter. So you look for them to mix up their defense a little bit. Nate's been doing a little bit more of that this year.
Frisbilla setting a screen for Rodriguez. It's Jared Jack who started back in the game, working on Jellaball across the lane. Frisbilla grabs the offensive rebound. The third for the Blazers. Saved by Outlaw. Back to Rodriguez. I think we've covered the 5 to begin the second quarter for the Blazers as well.
Well, you heard PJ talking about their big men in the defense, how happy he was. Portland has no points in the paint here in the entire first quarter. 10-0 for Seattle.
Look away pass by Jack. That meant that Webster was free to fire. And that puts the Portland Trail Blazers on top by a point.
Make the extra pass. That's when Portland thrives. They get open shots, and that's when they're at their best.
Portland is +9 above the arc. Seattle has done their damage inside the lane tonight, deflected out of bounds by Outlaw.
Remember, Seattle does not do a good job defending the 3. On the year, they're 28th in the league. Teams shoot almost 38% against them. Remember, Kevin, I talked about they get outscored by almost 9 points a game from behind the 3-point line. So that trend is right in effect right now.
Only player in double figures is Roy with 10. Ridnour, and this is Damian Wilkins with the miss picked up by Jack. Outlaw getting a Frisbilla screen, driving into Collison. Luke Ridnour, riddled with injuries this year and throughout his career. Mikael Jellaball from France with the miss. Rebound by Wilkins inside. He was doubled, so he gets it back out with a fresh shot clock with which to work. Jellaball just came up from the D League, where he averaged about 18, 19 points a game. Wilkins over Collison. They let him fire that shot. Volleyball by Frisbilla. There's a 3-on-3 led by Jack. Blazers talk about the great chemistry, Doug, on this team. A team and an organization with character issues a couple of years ago completely has cleaned the house inside.
And it's reflected in the way they're winning basketball games in the fourth quarter. Coming together, here's Martell Webster shooting the 3, and he's going to be fouled by Jellaball. So Martell Webster missed his first 4 shots, knocked down an open shot. Now he'll shoot 3 free throws, but here's the play by Portland, they extra pass, and you can see how wide open. He had been 0 of 4 again, Kevin, as I said, from the floor. He knocks that shot down. Now he goes to the line, the opportunity to shoot 3 free throws.
Doug, that chemistry thing I just brought up is such a nebulous deal. I mean, you don't know sometimes when you're bringing different parts from, different parts of the country, how it is all going to blend together. And you see Kevin Pritchard, their GM, and Paul Allen, their owner on the left-hand side. But, I mean, that's something that is so hard to grab, but when you get it, boy, you just embrace it.
Yeah, it's a very elusive thing, and it can change quickly. We've seen teams that have good chemistry, and all of a sudden something changes, and they fragment. And you got to give Nate McMillan a lot of credit. Early in the year, he said, by his own evaluation, he was being too much of a taskmaster, a drill sergeant. He said, I've got to back off. I've got to live with some mistakes, be more of a teacher. Team really responded to him. And you see the fruits of all that labor now, how well that this team plays and the great chemistry between players and coach.
Here's Wilkins taking it into Rodriguez. Doubled by Prisbilla. Shot clock is down to 6. Jet watches Ridnour for 3.
Luke Ridnour, our local favorite, went to the University of Washington, and there's a guy who's really struggled this year. Kevin has had some great moments in the NBA. He's had a broken nose. He's had a quadriceps injury. This has been a nightmare of the season just because he hasn't been able to be healthy.
Went to Oregon, did Ridnour. He was a terrific high school basketball player in the state. There's Travis Outlaw. You talk about sixth man candidates. You'd have to put his name on that list.
Absolutely. He's played very well off the bench, and he and James Jones were out there together in that one stretch. Those guys really spreaded the floor out and gave Brandon Roy a lot of opportunities to work. He and Aldridge.
Good offensive rebound by Collison, knocked away from behind by Outlaw. And they call that a jump ball with 8:30 to play here in this second quarter. Sonics at 14-38. Blazers 3 games over 500 at 28-25. Some defense inside. And Outlaw working on Collison. Trying to break a 5-game losing streak. The Blazers on top by 2 on TNT.
When I look around back here, I see the stories of every pair they won out there. These represent your dreams of doing battle under the bright lights. Oh, and those, nothing more need be said. And with these, you'll be a whole different kind of player. Pure classic. It's like wearing a history lesson. And down there, well, those just represent me. This room, this Foot Locker, represents. What's your story?
Rated PG-13. Starts March 7th.
We're here today testing for the new Volkswagen Sign and Drive event, where you can get a new VW for practically just your signature. Just sign and drive. Introducing the Sign Then Drive event. Even better.
No down payment, no first month's payment, 0 due at signing. Now until February 29th.
Like zoinks, it's the cable guy.
Chinkies? Well, now that DirecTV has way more HD channels than cable, it's no wonder the cable guy tried to stop everyone from switching to DirecTV.
And I could have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids and your dog.
Scooby-Doo!
Hook up your new flat screen to over 90 of the best HD channels. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
I was an intelligence analyst in the U.S. Army.
Warrant officer with the 18th Airborne Corps.
82nd Airborne.
Green Beret.
91 Echo, dental assistant.
Chemical officer, and I served in Iraq.
The Army taught me how to be a team player.
To be decisive.
I learned how to be a leader.
To be strong mentally
and emotionally. As it turns out, camouflage is a great way to get noticed. 150 careers in the strength America's top employers are looking for.
I am Army Strong.
I am Army Strong. See what it's like at GoArmy.com.
Contest shots. Let's contest shots. Let's go. We gave up an offensive rebound on the first possession. Since then, it's been one. Contest shots, limit them to one shot. All 5 guys board.
Coming into this season, P.J. Carlissimo had a training camp that was based solely on defense. They kind of went away from that, but now they're beginning to tighten their defensive screws as the season goes on.
Well, it's sort of interesting. They've held, in 12 games, they've held their opponents under 40% field goal shooting. They're 8-4 in those games. And, Kevin, when you look up the raw numbers, they give up 104 points a game, and you say, wow, their defense is not very good, but their opponents only shoot 44% against them, so they actually do a pretty good job field goal percentage defense.
Wilcox is back in, works on Chris Billa. And here comes Rodriguez. No word yet on Robert Swift. We've asked, and we've just not gotten any information from that Seattle bench. Outlaw drives on Collison.
A very active player. I like to see he take that ball to the basket as well as Webster, rather than just settle for those long jump shots. Mix your game up.
Seattle is in a poor shooting second quarter so far.
Seeing this zone, trying to really pack it in and force them to shoot long jump shots, something they don't do very well. You see Damian Wilkins once again missed a long jump shot, no offensive rebounding, and here they are on the run.
And Seattle is 1 of 10 in the second quarter. They had a 10 percentage point lead coming in to the second. That is now gone. Seattle has done their damage inside. Portland has done their damage from the three-point territory. Here's a 2 for Wilcox by Outlaw. The rebound by Wilkins. Looking for Wilcox, picked off by Jack. Here's Rodriguez, off to Webster, and he had it knocked away by Wilkins. 7:23, we bring up Robert Swift's name, and Cheryl has more on that. Cheryl?
Well, Robert Swift sprained his right knee. The medical staff doesn't believe it is related to his ACL repair. Further examination is expected tomorrow, guys, but he will not return.
He cannot stay healthy.
You hate to hear that from the young guy. I just, Kevin, I've been through that with injuries and stuff. You just fight yourself, fighting uphill all the time, trying to get healthy. It's been a tough battle for Robert Swift. Let's hope it's nothing serious and that he's going to be able to play some at the end of this year and see what he can do.
Rookie out of Georgetown, the Big East Player of the Year. Jeff Green has just checked in.
Now they're getting Francisco Elson from San Antonio, so if Swift can't go, I'm sure you're going to see Elson get some of those minutes.
Here is Ridnour, and that was over Webster. So Ridnour has come off the bench for the Sonics. He has put in 6 and 8 minutes. One player in double figures, that's Roy with 10. He has taken a long breather on the bench. Outlaw puts it in over Ball. Blazers have led by as many as 6. Sonics have led by as many as 4. Here's Wilcox, second full season with Seattle after coming from the Los Angeles Clippers.
It's the guy too, Wilcox. They got to see what he can bring. Luke now really feeling it. He's at home here with, you said he played at the University of Oregon, so he feels very comfortable in this state and knocking down some long jump shots.
He has 9. All have come in this second quarter from Luke Ridnour. Drive by Rodriguez. It'll count, and a foul.
Luke Ridnour coming in the game tonight. Played 31 games. He was 5 of 27 from the 3 as Rodriguez with a little floater. Again, he's sort of that wild card off the bench. He's a dynamic player. He's had some good moments, but this year has really struggled, Kevin. He's shooting his way down through the field. Rodriguez, he's shooting 35% from the floor, only 28% from the three-point line, and has really been very inconsistent this year.
Ridnour picked up his first personal foul. Here is Ball working into Webster. Wilcox, it was a beautiful pass inside to Jeff Green. It came from Wilcox.
And normally their big men are not good passers. Assist turnovers, when you look at the big men for Seattle, they turn the ball over way more than they get assists. So that was a nice pass by Wilcox.
Halfway through this second quarter, in the City of Roses, Portland, Oregon, Game 2 of our TNT NBA doubleheader.
Today, testing for the new Volkswagen Sign and Drive event, where you can get a new VW for practically just your signature. Just sign and drive. Introducing the Sign Then Drive event. Even better.
No down payment, no first month's payment, 0 due at signing. Now until February 29th.
I got good news. Putting you in my fave 5.
This is real?
Yep. You in, baby.
Call me anytime.
Anytime.
Yeah, I watched the game from last night. Yes, sir.
You got to pass the ball more.
Now, I'm really in the middle of something.
I don't want to look too fat in high definition. You ever been to Amsterdam? That's why I don't eat shrimp. I want to come visit because I am really bored.
What is it, Chuck?
What, Chuck?
Hey, Chuck.
Call me back. We got a lot to talk about.
Who's in your Fave 5? My fave's from T-Mobile. Unlimited calls to your 5 favorite people.
Hi, I'm Jackie Moon. As an expert on sweat and sweating, I may as well be a sweat scientist. As a scientist, there's one thing I know, and that's that perspiration serves no purpose. Much like the appendix, man nipples, or most of the human brain. You don't need it. So in the 24/7 battle against odor and wetness, I use this. Old Spice, Pro Strength Antiperspirant.
Mitsubishi says it's a new year, and you can break away from the boredom of your clone-mobile because the new generation of Mitsubishi is here. The critics have spoken, and the beautiful rally-inspired Lancer is your true alternative. It's where great design and affordability meet. And with Mitsubishi's comprehensive warranties, we've got you covered. Break away from yesterday and check out the impressive deals from your Triple Diamond Mitsubishi dealers. Pete Can Mitsubishi in Vancouver, Beaverton Mitsubishi, and Town & Country Mitsubishi in Milwaukee.
Pride champion Dan Henderson returns to the 185-pound division to defend his title against the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, UFC middleweight champion Anderson Spider Silva. They will face off to see who will become the unified middleweight champion. In the end, only one champion will remain. The Ultimate Fighting Championship presents UFC 82 Pride of a Champion, live Saturday, March 1st from Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio, on Events in Demand pay-per-view.
The NBA on TNT. Brought to you by Volkswagen. When you get into a Volkswagen, it gets into you. And by FedEx. For all your shipping needs, relax. It's FedEx.
Karma.
Karma this, dummy.
I just won $100,000 and was immediately hit by a car. Karma.
At TBS, get what you deserve. My name is Earl, beginning March 3rd at 10 on TBS. Very funny.
Luke Ridnour's had a good second quarter so far for the Seattle SuperSonics, hitting his threes. The rest of the scoring for Seattle has come inside until Ridnour's flurry outside. Brandon Roy with the game-high 10 has just come off the bench after a very lengthy rest. He is back in the game. Outlaw on top to Jack. Out there with Blake. Roy, Prisbilla will set a screen. Outlaw remains. Shot clock down to 5. Outlaw over Jellaball. Rebound by K.Durant just off the bench for Seattle.
You see both teams love to come out of timeouts and play zone defense to take you out of that offensive play. Maybe the coach put up. Here's Jeff Green on that baseline. And Kevin, I'm really looking forward to watching him play tonight. We saw him early in the year. He really just sort of stepped into the starting lineup playing that 4 position. I thought he was really unsure offensively. He'd done some good things defensively, but not sure where his offense was coming from. He's a pretty good three-point shooter in college, which is only about a 19-foot shot. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can start stepping out and trusting that jump shot a little bit more. I thought he had run away from that early in the year when I watched him.
Prisbilla picks up his second personal foul. He will leave, and Aldridge will come in. And when you talk about Green, you look at Durant, that is the foundation of this team. So, Doug, these other parts with this ball club, we've seen a flurry of trades already by Seattle among other teams in the NBA. But to have that environment surrounding your team has got to be a little bit uneasy, not only for coaches, but, of course, the players.
Well, no question. And then, that's why if you're Portland, you're looking over, and, your biggest weakness right now is your ability to defend around that basket and rebound. And you look over, and you've got the #1 pick waiting to join your team next year.
Outlaw inside, working on Green and Jellaball. 5:11 to play. Blazers have led by as many as 6. Sonics have led by as many as 4. Green picks up his first. Well, folks, a reminder, log on to TNT Overtime on NBA.com for more of Doug Collins' insightful analysis of teams around the league. I watch it today and love what you had to say. TNT Overtime on NBA.com, where you can get TNT NBA Thursday 7 days a week. Well, we've got P.J. Carlesimo, one-time a coach of the Blazers. We've got Nate McMillan, current Blazer coach, longtime player and coach for Seattle.
Well, they say if you stay in this league long enough, you'll coach about 60% of the players. Just stick around long enough, you'll see them once again. Same team, same city, just keep different addresses, that's all.
Wilcox over Aldridge. Green with an offensive rebound, held by Roy.
So I like Jeff Green's game because I think he's got a real good grasp of passing the ball. He knows how to move without the basketball. He's got a good feel for the game, and he's always been very unselfish. I think sometimes too unselfish. And I'd like to see him over this last 30 games really try to find an offensive game, try to find out what he's going to be able to do. We know what Durant does. He's going to come off screens. He shoots the ball. He's going to be very active. And I want to see Jeff Green's growth here in the last 30 games because without Wally Szczerbiak, he's going to have to play a lot of minutes at that small forward position.
He grew up a couple of blocks away from the Maryland campus, but went to Georgetown. Just took that team to a Final Four a season ago. Blazers have made 2 more free throws than the Sonics. Roy, Aldridge, Blake, later riding Wilcox. That's a 3 by Steve Blake.
Kevin, how many times have we seen tonight when Portland moves the ball and makes the extra pass? That's when they were on that winning streak. Nate McMillan talked to us before the game. He said, when we're moving the ball, he said that's when we're at our best, and that's why he's trying to get combinations of guys out there who play well with one another.
Aldridge on Wilcox. Doug, you're always talking about teams in the Western Conference. A necessity is to win at home.
Oh, you got to, especially when you're a young team. I mean, this is Jarrett Jack going to the basket, and Aldridge is trying to get to the foul line here. That's what they'd like to see him do. But, Kevin, right now, when you start looking at these teams who are battling, you got 9 teams, and we've talked about it before. We could win as many as 50 games in the West. You can't lose at home because it's going to be so difficult. Now, Portland has lost in their last 7 home games. They're 3-4. They came back from that 7-game road trip on the East where they were gone 12 days, and they were mentally fatigued and tired. And Nate McMillan was hoping that that All-Star break was going to be revitalizing his team. They lost a tough game the other night at home to Sacramento, but win here in the Rose Garden. And so you keep these fans excited about your team as you're finishing up the last 30 games.
Wilcox picks up his 3rd personal foul. Petro comes in. Here is Aldridge, who grew up in Dallas, goes to Texas for a couple of years, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, 4th overall pick in the draft. Initially taken by Chicago.
He's a guy who shot 183 free throws on the season in almost 50 games. There's Durant, and again, Kevin, just his inability right now because of his lack of strength, he lays himself out at the basket instead of drawing contact and either getting a foul. Now watch how he lays himself out here, Kevin. Once you get stronger, instead of laying yourself out like that, you will jump into Aldridge, get contact, and then try to get a 3-point play. That will come in time with this young guy.
Portland already with 6 blocks in this game with 4 to play here in the 2nd quarter. Quick foul put on Blake. They give him his 2nd of the game. I said Big Ten, I meant Big 12. Texas in the Big 12, of course. And Ed Durant is the college basketball player of the year last year, and the Longhorns under Rick Barnes playing well this year. Good screen by Petro. Ridnour has had a good scoring 2nd quarter. Can't nail the 3. Here comes Brandon Roy. He played 4 years at Washington.
One of my favorite players in the league. I just love the tempo and the demeanor, the way this young guy plays.
Across the lane, Outlaw. Petro is watching Aldridge, who draws the double from Ridnour. Jellaball the rebound. Rebounding has been basically the same all night long. Give or take a couple either way, but it's been very even, and a timeout taken with 3.5 to play in the half. With the Blazers easing up a little bit now with their biggest lead of 7 tonight. Shooting 40%, 2 in double figures. Outlaw with 11, Roy with 10. We take a break on TNT.
Karma.
Karma this, dummy.
I just won $100,000 and was immediately hit by a car.
Karma.
At TBS, get what you deserve. My name is Earl, beginning March 3rd at 10 on TBS. Very funny.
Here you go, Billy.
From day one, Bill has been told where to sit.
Billy, this will be your seat.
Bill, you'll be sitting here.
You're in 38E?
And that's when Bill decided.
Hey, I don't want to be told where to sit anymore.
So Bill switched to Southwest Airlines. Now Bill sits where Bill wants. Freedom to choose on Southwest Airlines.
You're now free to be more productive. People who come here for the wrong reasons, they never last.
Jake Tyler fought the world.
No fighting outside the gym or you're out.
Until one man
You're so set on hurting people, control the outcome.
gave him something bigger to fight for.
Still sure it's worth it?
Win, lose, it makes no difference. This is my fight.
On March 14th,
Never back down. Come on.
Never Back Down. Rated PG-13. March 14th.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel John Wagner, United States Air Force. I'm the commander of the 45th Launch Support Squadron. You know, I've always wanted to be a part of the space program, and you know, the Air Force is an exciting place to do just that. Most people don't realize the Air Force space program is equivalent to NASA in size and scope, and in most cases larger. You know, the shuttle launches about once a month, and I've got 3 launches here in the next 30 days. So if you want to be in the space program, the Air Force is a great way to do it.
See more videos at DoSomethingAmazing.com.
When you search for a car at Autotrader.com, we send more cars your way than anyone. A lot more cars. So you can narrow it down by model, the color, even the price. And when you search from the largest selection,
That's the one.
you get the car you want at the price you want. Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace.
The Trailblazers' second-year guard Brandon Roy was a big part of the 2008 All-Star Weekend in New Orleans, participating in the Rookie Challenge for the second consecutive year, scoring 17 points, adding 7 assists in a 136-109 sophomore win. Then on Sunday, he appeared in his first NBA All-Star game with Carmelo and Amari. They all scored 18 points apiece, leading the West. He also recorded 9 rebounds, 5 assists. And it is also bobblehead night. Doug and I have got ours. A lot of the fans have gotten theirs. And, of course, it was Kevin Durant bobblehead night Tuesday in Seattle, but he didn't play because of the flu. He had to go home. Here is Durant picked up by Jack. Size advantage for Durant, but that Jack is a feisty player. And that was one of the reasons why he was put on him tonight. Shot clock at 3. Watson, great feet inside and a great find as Jeff Green was coming off that left baseline.
Well, Earl Watson, great patience there. Rather than shoot that shot against the clock, he knew he had enough time to make a play, and Jeff Green, the recipient of a very nice pass.
Green's got 5. Here's Roy. Durant's on him, doubled by Jellaball. That means that Blake is free to fire a 3. Picked up by Roy. Another offensive rebound. Jack will slow it down. Watson. Roy playing a lot of minutes. Doug, this imaginary rookie or second or third year barrier when they get to a certain part of the schedule, when they, you know, I guess mentally and I guess physically to an extent, say I've hit the wall. Is it more just a figment of your imagination?
Well, I think there's some fatigue there, but it's interesting. I read an article the other day, and they said that actually, I think over the last 5 years, players' numbers have been better the last 30 games than in the first 52. So a lot of it is mental more than anything else, sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you feel tired, maybe you are tired. But I think guys are battling through it, and the numbers sort of show that.
Portland's offensive rebounding night has been terrific. Here is Roy working off the screen, finds himself doubled, finds the open guy Blake. That's a 3 by Steve Blake.
It's the importance of being able to space that floor for Brandon Roy to be able to have a place to work, where if he gets in the post there and somebody double teams, then someone's going to be able to get the open jump shot. And Kevin, we talked about Seattle. They do not do a good job defending that 3 on the season.
And looking how the Blazers are shooting in the second quarter. Good defense on Seattle. Let's take you to Atlanta and Ernie Johnson.
All right, Kevin, Southwest Airlines game break coming up in just a couple of minutes. Charles Kenny and our insider David Aldridge will debate what the Cavs did before the trade deadline. Half their active roster was traded. And we'll have highlights of the Spurs in Minnesota right down to the final ticks. And on Inside, all the highlights and more trade talk. Back to you.
EJ, thank you. Portland on a 10-2 run. This shot by Jellaball. And Jack chases the ball out of bounds with 1:43 to play. And Doug, the point guard situation for Seattle has been kind of an interesting topic all season long. What PJ is going to do, who's going to get the minutes. Now, most of the starts have gone to Earl Watson, but you take a look at Ridnour right there. Because of injuries, he hasn't seen the kind of time he thought he'd see.
Well, I think because of injuries, P.J. really hasn't been able to look at it, though. You know, Earl Watson has been the guy that's separated himself because he's been healthy. But Delonte West, when you look at his numbers before he was traded, Kevin, he missed 17 games due to injury. Ridnour's missed 21. So P.J. really has never been able to see all of these guys in action that much. Ridnour's played very well tonight, and he's had good seasons for Seattle. I think he's a starting point guard in the league on a good team. When he can make the open shot like he's done tonight, he adds a little dimension that we don't see that often. But it's just going to be interesting. You see the injury, Robert Swift, who hurt his knee once again tonight. We don't know how serious. A lot of times you worry about log jams at positions, but it always works itself out. Somebody gets hurt or something happens, and as a coach, it's something that you think you're going to have to fret about, but it seems like it always takes care of itself.
Outlaw at the other end had picked up his second personal foul. Durant watching Roy. And picked up another offensive rebound, this time collected by Aldridge, who slams it in.
Well, subtle play that time by Brandon Roy. He actually tipped that ball to LaMarcus Aldridge because he could not get possession.
Rayful Friends had just come in for the Portland Trail Blazers. The other end looking for Roy. Turnover, and now 4 for the Blazers, 5 for the Sonics.
Now watch Brandon Roy on this play, Kevin. He's going to get in. Watch him tip this ball right over to LaMarcus Aldridge, the wherewithal to understand that he couldn't gain possession, but just enough to tip it over to his teammates, and Aldridge gets the score. Quick
good move by Durant into Jack. Great block once again. 2-on-1. Roy, Jack, Roy. Into Petro defensively.
That was a great fast break. The first time Jared Jack misplayed the fast break, that time he ran it to perfection, and Brandon Roy did the nice job. He gave the ball up, made the defense react, and then the nice touchbacks back. And Portland's finishing this quarter nicely. But Kevin, again here, laying yourself out at the basket, trying to go away from the defense instead of creating the contact. And then this is a beautiful 2-on-1 fast break, and Brandon Roy knocks it down to give his team a 10-point lead with a little over 42 seconds to go in the first half.
Nothing like kicking back with a big, fat Louisiana bass.
Nice catch, Willis.
And who wouldn't love camping in the great outdoors of Louisiana?
Toast some marshmallows for me too, Mel, man. I'm busy.
Come on, CP3, lighten up. You don't have to practice all the time.
Who, me? I got all the Louisiana I need right here.
The NBA invites you to come and discover your Louisiana at louisianatravel.com.
No one double figures yet for the Seattle SuperSonics. They're shooting 34%. Blazers have 12 from Roy and 11 from Outlaw off the bench. They are shooting 41%. Watson works on Blake. Jack is on Durant. Oh! Rebound by Rayful Friends. And going in is Blake, and he lost the ball, stripped inside.
No place to go there. Now, no place for Durant here. Just mismanaging the clock here. Very lucky. They should get this ball back and hold it out. There's only a 1-second differential.
Blake with the pickpocket. No fouls to give. Jack. Little floater inside.
Just mismanaging the clock.
Yeah,
I mean, Kevin, there's 3 possessions there where you could have hold it out. I mean, how important it is here going in if you're Seattle to not let this team get to 12. Now they don't get a shot off in the play, so PJ's got to be very unhappy with those last 3 possessions.
Blazers are plus 10 in second chance points, and thus you see a lead of 10 here at halftime. It was tied at 37 with 5.5 to play. Blazers close it on a 14-4 run. And for a team that's looking to stop a 5-game losing streak, a first half they can hang their head on. Let's go to Cheryl Miller.
Well, Brandon, the last couple of teams that you guys have played have made trades, and they've come out pretty fired up. Do you feel that you guys came out and played with better urgency?
Yeah, we came out more of urgency. We weren't too concerned with what moves they were making. We were concerned about what we had to do to win the game. So we did a good job in the second quarter, picking up the pace and starting to play our tempo.
Well, there was some concern on whether or not you were going to play tonight's game because of a viral infection. How'd you feel out there?
I feel good, but once that pace picked up a little bit, I got tired. But we need this game, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the win.
All right, thanks for your time, Brent.
Thank you.
All right, our score here at halftime, Portland 51, Seattle 41. And when we come back after the break, it'll be time for the T-Mobile halftime report with Ernie, Kenny Charles, and David Aldridge.
Hi, I need 15 color copies of this presentation,
Sure.
please. I heard they're just 49 cents here.
No, but this is all in black and white.
Yeah, the boss wants them in color.
But if I make copies of this, it'll be in black and white.
Not if you use the color copier.
You know, I think we're going to be better off using a regular copier for this.
What is the color copier?
Chinkies? Well, now that DirecTV has way more HD channels than cable, it's no wonder the cable guy tried to stop everyone from switching to DirecTV.
And I could have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids and your dog.
Scooby-Doo!
Hook up your new flat screen to over 90 of the best HD channels. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
We're here today testing for the new Volkswagen Sign and Drive event, where you can get a new VW for practically just your signature. Just sign and drive. Introducing the Sign Then Drive event. Even better.
No down payment, no first month's payment, zero due at signing. Now until February 29th.
When you search for a car at Autotrader.com, we send more cars your way than anyone. A lot more cars. So you can narrow it down by model, the color, even the price. And when you search from the largest selection,
That's the one.
you get the car you want at the price you want. Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace.
Lobster Fest is the time of year to let yourself indulge in something buttery and sweet. The time of year to give yourself succulent Maine and rock lobster tails. It's lobster, fire grilled, roasted, all served with fresh salad and our warm Cheddar Bay biscuits. It's Lobster Fest. Right now, only at Red Lobster. Come see what's fresh today.
Let's get loose. Okay, go out and get this third and fourth quarter. Let's go right here. Come on. Let's get this. Come on. Right here. Right from the start, we are the aggressors, okay? We run down everything. 1, 2, 3. Together.
They've been the aggressors to start quarters tonight. TNT NBA Thursday is presented by the United States Marine Corps. The Blazers have started out in the first quarter 6-zip, second quarter 9-3. So they want to hold serve in terms of how the beginning of the quarter goes.
And also, too, Kevin, they're going to play each other tomorrow night in Seattle. So this is a back-to-back. So you want to take care of business here tonight. You don't want to give Seattle a chance to win this game. They had a terrific second quarter, 28-16. So Portland took control. They want to come out and do the same thing here in this third period.
Some pretty good three-point shooting by the Blazers.
And when Portland spreads the floor and shoots it, that's when they're a good team. You know, they don't take a lot of threes, but they shoot the three very well. You know, on the season, about 38%. Drive and kick. You see they draw the defense, three guys in the paint, and the important thing here is the extra pass. Martell Webster is the recipient this time, the extra pass. It's Brandon Roy. The drive, the kick. The spot up by Jared Jack. And this is Rodriguez kicking out to Travis Outlaw. You can see just the movement of the basketball here. The drive and kick, the extra pass, getting the ball to the weak side out of the double team. This time it's Brandon Roy finding Steve Blake. So a lot of guys had their hand in the three-point shooting. They were +6 beyond the three-point line.
Taking a look at our Jeep game summary, you see +10 second chance points. Portland on top. They're +6 in terms of three-point shooting. Let's start the second half with Wilcox taking it into the teeth of the defense with a sweet pass on top and an alley-oop throw down by Petro for the Sonics. Out there for the Blazers, Blake and Aldridge, Roy, Prisbilla, and Jarrett Jack. Wilcox is watching Aldridge.
And this is where they started the game. They wanted to get Aldridge the ball down in the low post. This time Wilcox had good position, but he pushed him in the back. It's going to be his 4th foul.
4 on Wilcox, who's out there with Green, Petro, Watson, Durant. Durant, by the way, was 2 of 8 shooting from the floor in the first half. Collison is going to come in for Wilcox. There is Aldridge at the free throw line as the Blazers build their lead.
Kevin, I talked about it in the first half a little bit. This is the area that LaMarcus Aldridge has got to get better in. He's taken under 150 free throws on the season, which is about 3 a game. And, you know, with his size, if he gets down in that low post, especially next year with Oden, he needs to be a guy who gets to the line 6 or 7 times a night.
Blazers have lost 9 of 12, 5 in a row. Collison right into Prisbilla with the offensive foul. Hey, Doug, the other night when the Blazers played Sacramento and lost 105-94, your comment was, looked like the Kings were almost tougher around the floor, inside. Now, what is the toughness level of this Portland team?
Well, I mean, I think Brandon Roy brings a toughness, but you need big guys. You can ask Charles Barkley in the studio. The big guys bring the personality to your team. The other night it was Brad Miller. It was Ron Artest. You know, these kind of guys, you know, Sheldon Williams, just a little bit of time off the bench. Big, strong guys who control the painted area. And that's where Portland's going to get, you know, Greg Oden back, and now Aldridge slides over as he makes that little jump shot into a more natural power forward position. But you have to have toughness on your front line.
Aldridge, a game-high 13. 1 of 3 Blazers in double figures. Nobody in double digits right now for the Sonics. Collison inside, sandwiched between 2 defenders. It's picked up by Brandon Roy.
Collison's had some nice offensive rebounds tonight, Kevin. I think that's his 4th offensive rebound. He just hadn't been able to finish.
7 points and 8 rebounds for Nick. Here is Roy. Now they got a mismatch, and Petra watching the point guard, Blake. Basically uncovered. With the rebound picked up by the Sonics, here comes Watson inside, slithering to the rack, finds 2 and a foul. Earl Watson's played with 4 different teams. He's bounced all over the league. You never really get a good gauge on his value, Doug, but you talked to PJ before the game as Blake picks up his 3rd foul, and he says this guy has been about as consistent as any guy we've had lately.
He's played very well. Last 4 games he's been terrific, but I still think, Kevin, on a really good team, he's a guy that comes off the bench and gives you a great spark. You know, play you 15, 16 minutes a night and really be able to lift your bench.
Durant and Jack screened by Aldridge. Pick and roll. Well, they have moved the ball well tonight, haven't they?
Well, that's the key to their team. It creates a lot of open shots. Brandon Roy just plays in such a great tempo for his team. He's an easy guy to play with because of the rhythm of which he plays the game.
14 points for Roy is a game high. He's got a nice demeanor about himself on the floor as Watson throws this one over Aldridge.
Well, he's the kind of guy in the 4th quarter, Roy, because of that personality, you feel very confident with coming down the stretch in a close game that he's going to have the right poise to help you at the right moment, especially under pressure.
Aldridge is doubled, setting a screen for Roy. 2 in a row. Whoa, from Brandon Roy.
See, with this group out there, too, he doesn't have to handle the ball as much. He's playing actually with 2 point guards, so the shots he's getting now are coming very easy for him. He's not having to work hard for them.
Off a Collison screen, Durant. And he continues to struggle. 2 of 9.
Kevin Durant coming off the flu, missed the game the other night, just appears to be a little rusty. Look at this open shot. I mean, he's getting wide open looks. That time he's not able to knock it down, but in great rhythm.
Watson to Collison. Great rejection inside by Aldridge. And picked up by Blake, shadowed by Watson to the other end. These 2 teams, ironically enough, will play again tomorrow night. Back-to-back games with just hours between the games up in Seattle.
It is a game Portland has to win. You got to win tonight. You got to win tomorrow night. Your schedule gets so tough against teams in the West. When you look at their schedule for Portland, too, they've got just a stretch of games coming up, I think 9 of 12 on the road. So this is a busy time for them.
Roy is on Durant. Shot clock is down to 6. Going by Jack. Lost it inside. Brisbilla. Jack 3-on-2. Jarrett Jack and the trailing LaMarcus Aldridge.
Well, he got bailed out on that Jarrett Jack. He got too far underneath the basket. Looked like he was going to travel, and at the last minute kicked it over his shoulder. He's not a great decision maker on the break, but here's Brandon Roy, who's a great decision maker. Look at him just sort of step into that shot so nicely. And then watch this, Kevin. He over-penetrates. Actually should have thrown the ball to Stevie Blake, and at the last moment he gets bailed out and drops it off to Aldridge. It'll look good in the stat sheet tomorrow as they lead by 14.
ROTFL, 8 points.
WTG.
ROTFL, Rottful's not English. Is texting all you girls do?
Oh, N-U-D?
A-Y-L? Question mark?
I have completely failed you as a parent.
Text like there's no tomorrow. AT&T's family plan, now with unlimited texting to anyone on any network. AT&T, your world delivered. Get the exclusive Walkman slider for only $49.99.
2 o'clock. Can you set that up? Can you shoot him an email?
I take it you'd like a more powerful engine?
Yeah, that'd be great.
You talk, we listen. Now get a 3.5-liter V6 at no extra charge on Dodge Charger SE Plus, available in cool vanilla. And get the industry's only lifetime powertrain warranty with unlimited mileage. It's the best in the business. It's a new day, Dodge.
Now on DVD, American Gangster. Own the original blockbuster film.
Frank Lucas is the most dangerous man in our city.
Plus the unrated extended version.
You know, one phone call, I'll be right back in business.
2 versions together for one low price. Own it now.
When I look around back here, I see the stories of every pair they won out there. These represent your dreams of doing battle under the bright lights. Oh, and those, nothing more need be said. And with these, you'll be a whole different kind of player. Pure classic. It's like wearing a history lesson. And down there, well, those just represent me. This room, this Foot Locker, represents. What's your story?
Here's to the light beer that wins award after award, year after year. The original and still the greatest, Miller Lite. Good call.
Acquiring route. Proceed directly to soccer field. In 8th grade, turn right toward basketball court. Exit Canada. Receive your second MVP.
The NBA on TNT. Brought to you by the new all Jeep Liberty and by Miller Lite. For award-winning taste, there's no debate. Miller Lite. Good call.
Welcome back to Portland. And before we get into the interview with Greg Oden, and Greg, I have to know, what was the inspiration with the Mohawk? What purpose does it serve? That's an interesting haircut.
I was just trying to lose some weight. I think I lost about 5 pounds today.
Well, there's an additional 2.5 on the sides, but today you said was the first time as far as your workouts that you were able to run up and down the court. How did you feel?
I felt great. It was good that I got to go up and down. I was running with somebody, supposed to be jogging, but I took off kind of fast, and it was just good for me to get out there and run.
All right, make sure you take a little more off the top. Thanks for your time, Greg.
Yes, ma'am.
Great kid. Thank you, Cheryl. Under 8 to play here in the 3rd quarter.
That's the 10th block shot of the game. Now for Portland, you heard Nate McMillan at halftime said get all the hustle plays, make all the key plays, get the loose balls. Tonight they have 9 blocks now, or 10 blocks, and they have 5 steals. So they are winning those hustle points.
3-second violation. A lot of those blocks have come from Aldridge.
Yeah, Aldridge has 5, but here's Prisbilla, and this is what he will do next year for them. He'll be a terrific backup center. Come in, and he's going to really fortify that second unit.
Wilcox on the bench with 4 fouls, so Collison is in, a runner on the play. over Blake by Watson, picked up by Roy. He plays a lot of minutes with this team.
But you know, he's such an efficient player. He doesn't waste energy. So when you watch him play, you see how easy he gets to his spots, Kevin. It's not like he's running around all out there like expending a lot of energy. Just very, very efficient.
Green into Blake. The foul by Prisbilla counted for 2. Can a player, Doug, find pockets of rest during a game on the floor?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, especially when the game slows down, Kevin. When you're a young player, the game seems so fast. You burn up so much energy. You waste energy, and then all of a sudden the game tends to slow down, and you can pick and choose spots. Absolutely, you know, when you can take a play off, and coaches would like you to take a play off on the offensive end more than the defensive end, but you know, when you're playing 38 minutes, you learn to pick and choose your spots, you know, when to be aggressive and, you know, when to maybe play off the ball a little bit.
Prisbilla just picked up his 3rd personal foul. Shot clock at 6. Roy picked up by Durant. Collison knocked it away with the drive. Aldridge, Prisbilla, a look-away pass by Aldridge on a shot clock violation. Now, when Oden comes back, Prisbilla becomes the backup center.
Hey, yes, and LaMarcus Aldridge slides over to a natural power forward position, and he can slide out on the floor. He can shoot jump shots. He can post. Oden then, you know, is not the guy that you're going to have to run all your offense through, but he will give you another post player. So if Aldridge can play in the post, Roy can play in the post, and then Oden, now you've got 3 guys that you can go to in the paint, and then your three-point shooting even gets better because you get more shots. So that inside creates the outside.
Petro is picked up by Aldridge. Rebounded by Blake. Rebounding advantage now is 8 for the Portland Trail Blazers over the Seattle SuperSonics. A little flash of Collison defense. Jack and Durant. Prisbilla the screen, the switch with Collison. And here comes Watson, who wants to run every time he gets that ball in his hands and takes it to the hole for 2. And a timeout taken by the Blazers. That does not impress the coach, Nate McMillan. Still a 10-point lead. Blazers have been up by as many as 14. Watson with 6 in the quarter and 10 for the game. The Sonics, who have won 5 of their last 8 games, down by 10 and halfway through this 3rd quarter on TNT.
Onto NBA.com and click on TNT Overtime and check out Michael Bivins as he gives you an inside look at All-Star Weekend in New Orleans. Only on TNT Overtime at NBA.com.
Look at that! Are you kidding me? That is sick! That is ridiculous!
Say I had a car company. Here's what I do. I tell everybody to listen to you. They build you great cars for magical trips on freeways and mountains and even drag strips. To make them sip fuel, I'd spend $1 billion or $3 so you could drive to forever and do it guilt-free. I'd tell every daughter, son, husband, and wife, you'll love my cars because I back them for life. Sound too fantastic? These things that I say? Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler are doing them. It's a new day.
On February 29th, from the studio that brought you The Notebook, New Line Cinema presents...
No! Woo! Heart attack!
...the most uplifting...
One lucky fan will go home with a game ball.
...touching...
You did not deserve that. No. I apologize.
...and inspirational movie...
You guys fans?
...of the new year. Will Ferrell. Semi-Pro.
This isn't just a basketball team. This is a way of life.
Buddy. Rated R. February 29th, only in theaters.
Principal Gottman, hi. It's Shelley calling again. I'm just calling to see if Sammy can come back to school today. He was expelled. Yes, you've explained that several times. But this week, I'm calling from my new Comcast digital voice home phone service. No, he's completely transformed like a butterfly.
Your phone calls won't change. They'll just cost less. Affordable and reliable Comcast digital voice.
Hey, do you know anything about Comcast HD? Not more than satellite, though, right? Really? Hey, do you mind grabbing me a coffee? No, just regular coffee, 2 sugars. Thanks.
Comcast has more HD. More than satellite, more than anyone. Comcast HD. More, more, more.
Wonderful scenics tonight of downtown Portland, Oregon, courtesy of our HD aerials presented by Aaron's. Blazers didn't make any moves during the recent trading period, but we've got a lot of new faces and new places in the Western Conference.
Well, I think Hornets trying to make their bench stronger, so we'll see how Bonzi Wells, Mike James fit in. We've already seen Gasol and Shaquille O'Neal, Kyle Korver's contributions to the Jazz. The one that I think is really going to help is Kurt Thomas. I think is going to really help the Spurs. He's going to fit in so nicely next to Tim Duncan, Jason Kidd and the Mavs. Bobby Jackson reunites with Rick Adelman back in Houston. And the Nuggets did not make any deals. They're hoping on Nene's health and Chucky Atkins that those guys can come back and help them get ready for the playoffs. So it's going to be the wild, wild west over the next 3 months.
Blazers by 10. They've scored 6 more points above the arc, and they've got 4 more points at the free throw line. That equals 10. That's why they're on top right now. Another 3-second violation. 5:55 here in the third. Out there, Watson, Collison, Jeff Green, Durant, Petro. That is the Sonic 5. Blake and Jack in the backcourt. Prisbilla, Roy, Aldridge. The Blazer 5. Collison throws it away, intercepted by Jarrett Jack.
That's what I talked about, those big men turnovers or assisted turnovers. Seattle turns the ball over 16 times a game, and a lot of them are by their big players.
Flash of defense by Petro. Shot clock is down to 6. Screen by Aldridge. Sneaking around is Roy. Into Prisbilla. Counted for 2 and a foul. That Roy just moved with such patience and grace and was patient in getting it off to Prisbilla.
See, he's not a herky-jerky kind of player,
No.
so you know where to be. I mean, that's what I was talking to Kevin. He plays at a tempo that when a guy like that has the ball, you know where to move, you know where to go to, and he didn't panic. He looked at the shot clock and was able to get it to Prisbilla. Prisbilla worked very hard this year on his free throws, actually shooting them better this year. What is he on the season now? I think he's shooting, 67%?
Yep.
Last year, I think he was in the 50s.
He was very low. You're right, Doug. Collison just picked up his 3rd personal foul. He's got it right now. Going up against Prisbilla, who played at the University of Minnesota. Double team, Roy reaching in. Picked it up. Here's a young team, Doug, playing at home. This is, by the way, one of the youngest teams in the history of the NBA. 3rd youngest in the history of the NBA. Youngest this season again in the league. I've always wondered about a young player playing at home as opposed to a young player playing on the road in terms of focus and concentration and preparation.
Well, you know, you talk to a lot of coaches around the league, and a lot of them talk that they like to play on the road now because they feel like sometimes the concentration and focus is better, that when guys are at home, they're worrying about tickets and all these different kind of things. And we talked to 4 or 5 coaches this year, but normally young players will always play better at home. They feed off the energy of the home crowd. As you start to get older, you really love to go on the road and quiet the road crowd, but the younger players usually thrive at home.
Roy missing there. He just picked up his 2nd personal foul. Webster has come in for Jack. Watson again, pushing the envelope with another dribble drive the length of the floor.
Well, Nate McMillan cannot be happy with that because that's about the 4th time tonight that Earl Watson has gone coast to coast and scored, and Portland never stopped the basketball. They let him just go inline to inline with it.
Watson again putting up good numbers, 12 points and 5 rebounds and a handful of assists. Watson has put in 8 points here in this 3rd quarter from Portland, Oregon. Allison watching Aldridge. Shot clock is down to 2. Oh, Watson fell and Blake was open. And Durant did a nice thing. Doug came, and we talked about this in the first half. He stayed below. That time, and you said he had to do this, he came back out to the perimeter to guard the guy.
Well, you got to rotate out, recognizing that shot clock, make him make the extra pass or get the shot clock violation, and Kevin Durant did a nice job that time. And he's very struggling. He's struggling tonight very much on the offensive end, only 2 of 9. Let's see if he can get himself heated up here going into the 4th quarter. I mean, Seattle's hanging around here. It looked like that they were going to be out of it, and they've cut this lead to 6.
Allison with 11 and 8 rebounds. Young players making decisions. That's such an interesting thing. There's a foul on Durant. Moments ago, a nice defensive play. That time he is called for the foul, but just the reading that's required. And sometimes you can see the gears in their head just kind of grinding to a halt as they try to figure out, as they read, where do I make my decision? When do I act on it?
No question. And here's Seattle once again going to that zone on the sideline out of bounds play.
Green is on Roy. It's a foul. Collison was reaching in, and Green was defending.
One of the things when you play zone as an offensive team, you want to get penetration into that area, the lane, where it causes the defense to collapse you to get to the foul line, and that's when you get those kick out for three-point shots.
Watson picks up his first. Here is Roy at the free throw line. 3.5 to play in the third quarter. Roy tonight 1 of 3 from the stripe. Let's take a look at the national TV schedule. Tomorrow night, ESPN. It's the Wizards at the Cavs, the new-look Cavs, and the Celtics will play at the Suns. On our partner NBA TV, Saturday, New Orleans at San Antonio. Sunday on ABC, Detroit will take on Phoenix.
It's going to be interesting to see how many of those guys will be able to play in that game in Cleveland tomorrow, Kevin, because when you have a multi-team deal like that, 3 teams and so many players, you know, guys have to pass physicals. They have to get into the areas before that deal will go through. And so, I mean, it'll be interesting for Cleveland. They got that game at home tomorrow night against Washington, and they're, you know, fighting to stay in that 4 position to have a home court in the first round.
Here's Durant putting up a 3, and Roy defending on the play, as both Wilkins and Wilcox have retaken the floor for the Sonics. Kevin Durant getting his first field goal since the final minute of the first quarter.
But he's capable of throwing up a 15 or 16-point fourth quarter.
Nice jam inside by Aldridge. Roy with the assist. Roy tonight, 12 rebounds, 18 points, and 4 assists. Screen by Collison. Watson knocked away inside by newly instated Travis Outlaw. Roy open, Collison late with the close. The missed 3, the pickup by Durant. Guarded by Blake, finds Wilkins inside, cutting to the rim. Rebound picked up by LaMarcus Aldridge. Outlaw finds Webster, and a foul. Down hard on his left knee was Martell Webster.
He came down very awkwardly on that play, Kevin, as he jammed that leg at the end of that play. Nice little give and go that time, though, by Travis Outlaw and Martell Webster.
Watch Roy moments ago.
And once you get in the lane, what happens is that defense just starts to collapse. Defense, the back line steps up, and this is where Webster comes down. You see him sort of jam that leg into the floor. This is Portland, I think, with this group, with James Jones being out. I think this is their best offensive team. It's their best shooting team. You have Webster on the floor, Aldridge and Outlaw, all very capable shooters. Brandon Roy and Steve Blake. So let's tease, Kevin, let's just watch this last 2:23 to see if they can make a little push here going into the fourth quarter.
James Jones, second leading 3-point shooter in the NBA, out with the left knee injury. He says he'll be back within 7 to 10 days. Doctors thinking it might be a little bit longer. Watson picked up his second personal foul. Webster at the free throw line. The thing about this Portland team, Doug, over the last couple of years, guys like Aldridge and Webster saw a lot of valuable minutes playing for a team that wasn't very good. It's starting to pay off now.
Well, you talked about a while ago young players, but young players who've played a lot of games because they played on a bad team. So they've gotten to play when other guys had to sit on the bench on playing on good teams.
Intercepted by Roy. Retaken by Wilcox. Hit by Blake. And a Steve Blake foul. 2:04 to play. That's the 4th on him. Wilcox will go to the line. That's kind of what Seattle's going through right now.
Yeah, and I feel for P.J. Carlison. I talked to him before the game. P.J.'s always been such a great friend, and I know what a competitor he is. And I said, P.J., I hope, over this next 30 games, as you're going to play all these young guys and make all these evaluations, the realization of how hard it's going to be to win games, but for the long-term interest of the franchise, it's what you have to do. And you can only hope that, their general manager, Sam Presti, and the ownership there will understand, when he takes these losses, you look at the All-Star game last week. Byron Scott coaching New Orleans. His first year in New Orleans, he won 18 games, but yet he was able to stay there and be the All-Star coach. Doc Rivers, Danny Ainge recognizing the team they had last year he could not win with. So now they get good players. Doc is winning, and now he's the All-Star coach. So hopefully PJ will get the opportunity to coach his team when they're ready to win games.
It's like training camp.
Right now they're evaluating, but wanting to be competitive, that's a tough thing to do, especially in this Western Conference where every game is so important.
Aldridge over Wilkins. And it's vacuumed in by Outlaw. First shot clock.
I think all these teams in the West, when they play Seattle, don't look at it and say, hey, we cannot lose this game. I mean, with all the teams we have to play.
Plus, it's hard for a coach, too, Doug. You know, those losses go next to his record.
No question.
Jack inside. It's tripled. Outlaw. He'll try to throw. And Durant will pick it up. Durant 3 of 10, 4 rebounds, 11 points. Watson for 3, the late arriving Aldridge, and a 3-ball put down by Earl Watson. 15 points in 21 minutes, 7 of 10 from the field, coming off an 11 of 13 game on Tuesday, and the Sonics now down by 5.
This might be the best 5-game stretch of Earl Watson's career.
Outlaw right into Collison. Good defense by Nick. Scooping off, here comes Durant. Into Webster, and the foul.
See,
count it.
When Seattle is good, they get in the open court. This is when they get scores. When they get in the half court, they're not a good team. But how often have we seen either Durant out in the open court? We've seen Earl Watson. And this is the style they want to be able to play. They want to be able to push it, get some layups, and then they want to be a very good defensive team. And I think PJ's starting to get the concept across defensively. But this is a team that, because they turn the ball over, really compromise their defense because they give away a lot of easy scores. And they don't rebound the ball well, so they give up a lot of second-chance points.
Durant gets his own miss and goes right back up and can't get it to go. And out of bounds. No fouls to give either way. Sonics have only won 5 of 25 games on the road, and Nate McMillan at home has gone 20-7, but at home over the last 7 games, Portland Trailblazers, Doug, have only gone 3-4. This is where you said before they've got to really thrive. Boy, against the ball just checked in. Green was there with the defense, knocked the ball away. Looked like Jellival picked up the foul. He did. That's his second.
That's where Jeff Green is just a little bit slow in his rotation. Instead of waiting to try to get that shot block, I saw P.J. Carlesimo talking to him. He said you got to rotate sooner and meet him further away from the basket because once they get the ball that close to the rim, Brandon Roy is going to throw his body in there and get to the foul line. It's going to be something that Durant is going to learn to do as he gets a little bit older and stronger.
Roy is the number 2 second-year scorer in the NBA. Rudy Gay of Memphis is number 1. Number 3 is LaMarcus Aldridge. Roy with 12 rebounds tonight, tying his career. He only had 11 points the other night, but was battling viral infection, the bad right ankle. But tonight looks rested, and he got a lot of minutes rest in the first half. 8-second difference. Game clock and shot clock winding down the third quarter. Wilcox still into Aldridge. And LaMarcus will pick up his second.
The last thing you want to do, Kevin, is when a guy's wheeling in like that, reach in and get a foul. Aldridge, Wilcox does not have a field goal tonight. He's 0 for 5 from the floor. So you don't want to let him go to the free throw line. And I mean, how important is it for Seattle to try to get a lead here maybe in the last few seconds of this quarter, Kevin? On the road this year, going into the fourth quarter, when they are behind, they are 0-19. Last year they were 3-23. That's with Ray Allen and Rashard Lewis. So you combine the last 2 years, they're 3-42 when they trail after 3. So I would say they were not a very good come-from-behind team. And Portland is one of the best in the league at rallying from being behind by after 3 and winning in the fourth period.
And they got one of the great fourth quarter scorers in Outlaw. Roy to Outlaw, working on the defense of Wilcox. And 0.4 of a second to play. And Jeff Green will inbound, caught by Jellival, and that's all he can do. Portland led by 14, 61-47. Seattle closes on a 20-9 run, which has brought our game close, and at the end of 3, it's a 3-point game. The Blazers on top.
Here, Daddy.
Sweet pea, apple of my eye.
More bars in more places.
Look, Daddy sent us a picture.
That's what you can expect from AT&T, the largest digital voice and data network in America.
You're the only reason I I'm coming home.
Switch to the network you can trust, AT&T. Get our exclusive Walkman slider for only $49.99.
Hey, Janice.
Hey, Phil.
Janice, have you heard about Southwest Airlines' new Business Select? It guarantees that you're one of the first aboard, you get extra Rapid Rewards credit, and you get a free drink.
Really?
Yeah, and the ticket is fully refundable.
Cool.
Well, happy birthday, Janice.
Thanks for remembering, Phil.
Business Select, new from Southwest Airlines.
Nice guy.
You're now free to be more productive.
2 o'clock. Can you set that up? Can you shoot him an email?
I take it you'd like a more powerful engine?
Yeah, that'd be great.
You talk, we listen. Now get a 3.5-liter V6 at no extra charge on Dodge Charger SE Plus, available in cool vanilla. And get the industry's only lifetime powertrain warranty with unlimited mileage. It's the best in the business. It's a new day, Dodge.
I'm gonna stop this guy. You want to be the best. I take out the best. Get the gloves.
He's getting up. He's getting up.
With some technique, bro, you can achieve greatness.
Never back down. Come on.
Never Back Down. Rated PG-13. Friday, March 14th.
If you want to quit smoking, today's your day. Commit Cherry Lozenges. Commit tastes great, works fast, and calms cravings even after the lozenge is gone.
245 pounds.
Gonzo!
For taking it off.
And keeping it off.
10 years. Congrats, Jared.
Yeah!
10 years and 245 pounds later, congrats, Jared. Happy to help with our mouth-watering low-fat subs. Subway, eat fresh.
Well, Nate, you said it was going to be very important tonight for you guys to finish the quarter strong. What did they do well? What didn't you do well?
Well, I thought we started settling again, you know, for the perimeter jump shot as opposed to attacking the basket. We got those guys in foul trouble. You know, we had 17 free throws in the first half, and we want to do the same thing. Be aggressive. Don't settle for the perimeter game.
You said that you wanted a really solid post-up presence from LaMarcus. Did you like where he got his touches tonight so far?
I think he's working to get in there. He has to make good decisions with the ball, know when to attack. If he's off the block, kick the ball out, reestablish his post position, and mix it up. But, you know, he's doing a good job of getting there. He has to make good reads.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Trailblazers have two guys at double-doubles, 19 points, 13 rebounds by Roy, 17 points, 10 rebounds by Aldridge. Off the bench, Outlaws put in 11. Blazers have missed their last 5. Back to the third quarter, of course. 10 seconds gone here. We have a little shove and a foul. It looks like Green has picked up. He has his second personal foul.
Well, let's see if Seattle can make a little push now. Those two leading scorers you talked about, the two double-double guys, are both sitting over on the bench. Roy and Aldridge getting a rest. So let's see if Seattle can cut into this lead.
Here's Outlaw. Watson picks it up. Watson's had a good game with 15 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists.
I like this. So Earl Watson now is playing with Ridnour. Ridnour played very well in that second quarter. Let these two guys play together, because really when you look at Portland, they have 2 small point guards on the floor, so you can get away with matching to them.
Defensive 3, Wilkins, Green, Ridnour, Watson, Wilcox. That's the Sonic 5. And out there for the Blazers, Prisbilla, Webster, Outlaw, backcourt of Jack and Blake. They begin the fourth quarter, and Doug just talked about Roy and Aldridge on the sideline.
Now, both of these teams, before they made any kind of trades or whatever, both had very, very good benches. 2 of the better benches scoring-wise in the NBA. So let's see, even with Zerbiak not here, if Seattle can get some scoring off the bench.
Trying a pick and roll with Green. Guarded by Jack on the defensive switch. Jeff Green's got 11. Blake into Ridnour. 3 seconds. Again.
Both teams trying to play a little zone here, and sometimes, Kevin, you get yourself standing back there in that 3-second line defensively, and that's exactly what's happened on back-to-back possessions, once for Portland and now once on Seattle.
Talked about young players, Doug, and how they try to find their way, learn on the job, so to speak. Always watching them off the ball is kind of an interesting thing, too, to see how they react and what they do when they don't have the ball on the weak side, for instance.
Well, so many of them are so used to having the ball in their hands. I mean, you have to learn to play with good players. Most of these guys are stars either on the high school team or college or both.
Shot clock went off. They weren't aware of the clock, and there's an example of some growing pains to the frustration of Nate McMillan.
And you also see the fact that with Brandon Roy not being on the floor, this is where Steve Blake and Jared Jack, being 2-point guards, they started the game together. They have to give their team some organization. I'm telling you, P.J. Carlissimo has to be very happy with all that's gone on with his team and all the trades and all, and really playing for nothing other than just being competitive and trying to get guys better. His team is putting up a really good effort here tonight.
Out of bounds. Well, look at the trades they've made. Kurt Thomas was sent away. Ray Allen, Rashard Lewis, getting now 13 picks over the next couple years. 6 in the first round, 7 second-round picks coming their way. They're truly working with an eye to the future. Outlaw covered by Green. And Green's calling card at Georgetown was defense. Look at Watson press the other way. Wilkins to Green, left open. Everybody sagged down low. Tip in, try, won't go for Wilkins.
That's the shot that he's going to have to add to his game, though. Jeff Green is going to have to be able to step out and make that NBA three.
Jack will try a three. Defended by Watson, picked up by Green. Here comes Earl. Ahead to Wilkins. Over Blake at the other end. And finds 2.
How about Damian Wilkins? Early in the year had a 40-point game down in Atlanta.
And back home, yeah.
In front of his dad and former NBA player Gerald and his uncle Dominique. And then after that game, really struggled offensively. Really, they'd like for him to really be a defender, lockdown defender. I think he'd like to score a little bit more.
Jack over Green. Watson picks it up. And the drive into Blake. Rebound by Green. Knocked away by Prisbilla, who picks up the Portland foul.
The energy and the hustle plays right now are going to Seattle. It was in favor of Portland in the first half. We talked about the block shots and the steals. But in this half, all the energy plays, all the extra effort plays have gone to Seattle, and that's why they have gotten back in this game.
Outlaw picked up his third, not Prisbilla, it was Outlaw. I am having a hard time getting that mohawk of Oden out of my head. And it got me thinking, Doug, you've had a lot of different hairstyles over the years. What would you look like? Well with the mohawk, and there, of course, it is. That's a couple number 1 picks.
That's the haircut of the fraternal order of the number 1 picks in the draft.
That is a bad
That's a good look right there for Oden and I right there.
Well, aerodynamically, it's got some.
I wish my grandkids were up right now this late at night to see their papa right there with the mohawk.
Something tells me Chris might be DVR in this game. And Joe, what's happened to Grandpa here since the last? The do is a don't.
Oh, boy. All those guys in Atlanta.
A lot of time on their hands. Here is Outlaw, picked up by Green and Wilkins.
Seattle's playing terrific defense. Chasing shooters, they stepped out of bounds. I mean, getting the shot clock. So how much longer is Nate McMillan going to be able to keep Brandon Roy and Marcus Aldridge over on the bench? I'm sure he wants them to be fresh to end this game.
Ridnour had a good second quarter, came out, was firing away, hitting some threes in the second.
See, I like this team, though. You got Jeff Green out there with 2 guards and Collison. I think this is a good unit for P.J. Carlissimo.
Good defense by Outlaw. Jack, Outlaw, good rotation, a wide open 3 by Blake, and a rebound offensively by Prisbilla.
Well, P.J. Carlissimo talked about offensive rebounding for Portland.
Watson did not close out on Jack, who knocked down a three.
Second shots, that's a different right now in this game.
Watson again forcing the issue with Jack, and a wild-looking throw. Watson only his 4th turnover tonight with 6 assists in a 2-point game with about 8 minutes to play.
He believes a test drive of the 2008 Santa Fe should be just that, a test. So aim for potholes, gun it on green, and stop in a hurry. Test anything and everything. Well, almost everything. Come test drive the crossover SUV that beats all others in owner satisfaction.
For a limited time, get 0% financing for 48 months on any new 2007 Santa Fe.
Here's to the light beer that wins award after award, year after year. The original and still the greatest, Miller Lite. Good call.
You're not bank robbers. That's why we could get away with it. We're rich. It's a princess.
This robbery's now a matter of national security.
You stole from me and from friends of mine. I'm changing the deal.
The Big Job, Ridnour, March 7th.
Hi, dear. Nice. You got that HD TV. Now all you need is HD service.
Dish.
What? A satellite dish? Guys, no. Get HD from Comcast. It's easier to install. Way easier to... Oh, man.
Catch the high def high. HD from Comcast offers the best picture without an ugly dish to install.
This month on Comcast, bigger burgers, better barbecue, badder ride. Ready to hit the road? Diners, drive-ins, and dives. Monday nights at 10 on Food Network. Comcast Channel 66. Combine one no-nonsense chef, a maxed-out team of cooks, and the most discriminating clientele. You get The Heat. Thursdays at 10:30 on Fine Living. See who gets grilled next. Comcast Channel 184. Things are cooking on Comcast.
Unlikely team is digging up the drama on TNT.
Cops get stuck with bringing people like you know, squints.
Oh, you mean people with very high IQs and basic reasoning skills?
Yeah. He wants the bad guy.
I'm gonna spread the pain. That's my new motto.
She wants the facts.
What clue are we missing?
But every Tuesday night, they'll both find the truth, no matter what it takes.
What are you trying to do?
Blackmail you.
I don't like it.
I'm fairly certain you're not supposed to.
Bones. Tuesday at 10, only on TNT. We know drama.
Blazers at one time led by 14. Blazers rookie Greg Oden recently made a trip to McDonough Park in a local boys and girls club when the team was in New Orleans. McDonough Park will be the site of an NBA Cares court refurbishment done in partnership with Spalding and Gatorade, continuing the league's commitment to the New Orleans community. The NBA were caring Athens, and Doug and I have been a part of the NBA for a long time. And you know, there is a great sense of pride, Doug, that I took from that weekend in New Orleans. The league has just been so dominant in their involvement, getting that city back on its feet. I truly applaud what they have done. It's been so impressive in every sense of the word.
Well, you saw Kobe Bryant working with a big bandage on his hand from his finger. You saw him doing it. You saw the commissioner with jeans and a sweatshirt on, painting down there and stuff. It was, like you said, it was a great scene.
How about Prisbilla? Pushed by Green, bumped by Collison, and gets it to go. One of the unsung heroes on this Blazer team this season. Prisbilla now with 9 rebounds. Doug, you began the broadcast talking about the fourth quarter. Would Seattle have a cushion coming into the fourth quarter, which they need? Would Portland, a good fourth quarter team, have what was necessary to do it? And right now, the numbers are basically the same statistically by these two teams through the first 4+ minutes.
Yeah, but the difference was Brandon Roy was on the bench with Aldridge. Now Brandon Roy's back. Let's see what happens with that statistical edge now.
You got it. Ridnour, Durant. Wilkins, an open 3. A late arriving Outlaw. A rebound by Collison. Kicks it back to Wilkins. By Roy. The driving Durant. And a foul. It's on the Blazers. Looked like Prisbilla picked it up.
See that long loping stride of Kevin Durant. This one dribble, and he gets all the way from behind the three-point line to the rim and gets the foul. Again, Kevin, this is an area that his game is really going to grow. When he gets stronger, he's going to shoot 8-10 free throws a game. You know, right now on the year, when you look at Durant, he shoots, you know, a little over 4 free throws a night. So those numbers are going to continue to grow. Points in the paint have belonged to the Sonics, fast breakers Sonics, which they're a quick hitting team. And then second chance, the Blazers, and that's what PJ had talked about. He said, we've got to make sure we defensive rebound the ball the first game. The Blazers on Christmas night, 19 offensive rebounds, 20-3 advantage on the offensive boards points-wise, which is what was the difference in that game.
Outlaw over Green. Here's Collison, a late driving Brisbilla. Rebound by Outlaw. Rebounding has basically been the domain of the Trailblazers. They've had a lead in the rebounding category as much as 7 tonight. And right now they're +3.
And on the season they got rebounded 2 a game, so they've not been a good rebounding team. But this is a team they can take advantage of. That's Jarrett Jack. That's the guy I remember from Georgia Tech, that tough, aggressive driving guard. The league was such, in the ACC that one year had such great point guards. And here's the whistle. Squares those shoulders, knocks it down, and this is the emotion.
Portland tonight is +2 at the free throw line in terms of points. Switch Jack now on Durant and the drive. Kevin Durant with the move, and tonight Durant 5 of 13, 17 points, a Sonic high. Jack on the fly. Count it again. Nope, wipe it away. There was a foul. It was back around the arc. Went on Wilkins, who picked up his second. The basket will not count. Blazers will inbound.
It looks like Kevin Durant is starting to get some rhythm, Kevin. You remember he missed the game with the flu the other night, and it appears to me that he's starting to get into a better rhythm. You know, sometimes you miss a game and you know, you get out of sorts a little bit, and it looks like he's starting to play better basketball here in the second half.
Brisbilla, a screen, going underneath is Ridnour. Jack hits it again. Boy, Jarrett Jack has found the stroke here lately. 13 points, 8 1/4. A drive inside by Durant. That Brisbilla, who's tough as nails, took it hard again, picking up his 5th personal foul.
The Blazers are trying to change defenses, Kevin. They're trying to go to a certain defense on a make, you know, a zone or whatever. You see them pointing, and nobody gets back and gets matched up, and Brisbilla has to take the foul. So quickly after the score, Seattle advances the ball, and Portland, if they're going to change defenses, they're going to have to do a better job of communicating with one another.
Kevin Durant at the line as we move through the night tonight. Let's take a look at what's coming up on TNT next inside the NBA with Ernie, Kenny Charles, and David Aldridge. A continuing discussion of the latest trade news in the NBA. The next Thursday, Dallas will be at San Antonio. Doug and I will be in Texas. Then Miami at the Los Angeles Lakers. That's next week on TNT NBA Thursday.
How about Kobe Bryant last night? What a show he put on in Phoenix. Boy, the Lakers are playing great basketball right now. They are so confident. They went on that 9-game road trip, 7-2. Boy, they are in a great position to have a strong finish, getting Andrew Bynum back soon.
No call, Roy. He was defended by Durant. Rebound by Nick Collison. Collison grabs onto his 10th rebound. He's got a double-double. Ridnour on the drive. And Jack took it like a man and is called for the foul. 5:42 to play. Jack picks up his first. This is a feisty game. Seattle will not go away. Portland riding a 5-game losing streak in desperate need of a win.
The list of standard features on any new car runs long. And the list on the 2008 Hyundai Sonata is no exception. But you'll find some surprises too. Things you won't find on a Camry. And then there's maybe the best feature of all, the price. Come test drive the car that sets the standard for standard features.
Get 0% financing for up to 60 months on a 2008 Hyundai Sonata.
Like zoinks, it's the cable guy.
Chinkies? Well, now that DirecTV has way more HD channels than cable, it's no wonder the cable guy tried to stop everyone from switching to DirecTV.
And I could have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids and your dog.
Scooby-Doo!
Hook up your new flat screen to over 90 of the best HD channels. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Everybody sweats, but most people would be surprised to know that they sweat 6 liters per day. Now, I'm not familiar with the metric system or any other foreign language, but that's the equivalent of 300 gallons, I would guess. 300 gallons per day? Imagine that. That's a fact. Hey, cauterize your sweat glands shut. With Old Spice Pro Strength Antiperspirant.
He said he had to go to Santa Fe for work. Big conference. Right. You know what's happening. You know he's with another car, driving around, probably to some rock climbing wall or out on an expensive dinner. He'll say was with a client. It's probably that red Cadillac CTS from Avis. Again.
With dozens of the hottest cars to choose from, there's a reason Avis is your other car.
The NBA on TNT, brought to you by Hyundai. Discover the power of thoughtful engineering at thinkaboutit.com. By DirecTV. If you consider yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. By the United States Marine Corps. The few, the proud, the Marines. And by Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace.
Help us get our rhythm back, get some confidence back, get a win. Let's go, man. We're good. Let's get it stopped. I was like, do we see me? I was like, he see me.
Both teams shooting about 40%. LaMarcus Aldridge has a double-double, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 19 and 13 for Roy, 13 for Jack with 6 assists and 1 turnover.
Well, you heard LaMarcus always talk about rhythm and confidence. I heard Brandon Roy talking about the same thing in an interview, reading a lot of the articles. And I think the Portland Trailblazers felt they lost a little bit of that swagger and that confidence on that long road trip, Kevin. When they were gone 12 days, they went 3-4. And then right before the All-Star break, lost 4 straight games on the road. And they really were reeling a little bit. And I think they need a feel-good win. And Nate McMillan, who's done such a wonderful job here, to get that feeling back of winning once again.
Here's Outlaw, and he works on Green. Shot clock at 7. Foul on Green. Outlaw to the line. Well, in free throws shooting tonight, Portland just plus 1 point there. Rebounding, Portland plus 1 rebound. Second chance points, Portland plus 9. Points in the paint, Seattle plus 12. Portland plus 3 in three-point shooting. There's Outlaw.
See, Kevin, I think that Portland has gotten the message, though, because when Cheryl Miller interviewed Nate McMillan, he said, we're settling for too many jump shots. We've got to get back to the free throw line. Well, they shot 22 free throws. 17 free throws in the first half, only 5 in the third quarter. They've already gone to the line here. I think this is the 9th attempt here, so they're starting to get back to the line, get to the penalty, get to the free, and that's what they want to do rather than shoot all long outside jump shots.
Sonics took a lead second half, 74-73, 9:20 left. Blazers on a 14-6 run since. It's Durant into Aldridge. That's an offensive foul. That's a third.
Aldridge does a nice job stepping up and not moving. It looked like Durant wishes he would have taken one more dribble and been able to take that ball around him. Once he got in the air, there was no place for him to go.
Durant 5 of 13 tonight, 18 points. He leads the Sonics in scoring. 4 double figures for Seattle.
So they're really going to Outlaw. This fourth quarter has always been his quarter. He and Brandon Roy very good in this period.
He had 13 the other night in the fourth quarter, and the Portland lost to Sacramento.
Averages almost 6 points a game in the fourth quarter. So he and Brandon Roy really are the two guys that look to score the bulk of the points.
Green again is on Outlaw. Shot clock at 6. Collison may have gotten a hand on it. Good defense by Seattle. Look at Durant. Long strides taken to the other end. Sonics, by the way, with their 4th turnover in this fourth quarter. And Doug, only 3 of 9 from the field.
Well, that's what gets Seattle in trouble. Kevin, we talked about their turnovers. They turn the ball over 16 times a night, and a lot of them come by their big guys. Now, Kevin Durant is a guard, but I consider him a big guy out on that perimeter. Tried to force the action there. Back-to-back turnovers, and P.J. Carlesimo wants to talk to his team about it.
What's so great about having the internet in your pocket? Well, then you can see the trail map when you're on the mountain. Find a good place to eat in town when you're hungry. And change your flight when you're just not ready to go home. That's what's so great.
Check this out.
What is it?
It's our new high speed. It's what makes us faster than DSL.
Where'd you go?
Peru.
Liar.
Oh, John, si nos comemos un saldo de pollo.
No thanks, I just ate.
Gracias.
Comcast high-speed internet with Power Boost. Faster than DSL, faster than ever.
Nobody covers Hollywood's biggest night like TV Guide Network. Lisa Rinna and Joey Fatone lead the team coverage live from the Academy Awards red carpet.
It's a night filled with drama, excitement, tears, and joy.
And that's just in his dressing room.
Hollywood's biggest party. Live at the Academy Awards with Lisa and Joey. Sunday, February 24th, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, only on TV Guide Network.
Awards season 08 official headquarters.
Right here.
On Comcast.
Spend it with the original Law & Order. You never forget your first. Back-to-back episodes of Law & Order every Monday on TNT. We know drama.
TNT Saturday. They were brought together by chance and reunited by revenge. 4 brothers. Saturday and Sunday night, starting Saturday night at 8 on TNT. We know drama.
Beautiful night in Portland, Oregon. TNT NBA Thursday is presented by the United States Marine Corps with Doug Collins and Hall of Famers Cheryl Miller, Kevin Harlan. 7-point game. 19 for Roy. Aldridge was 17. 17 off the bench for Outlaw. 6 of 16 is Outlaw shooting tonight. Kevin Durant has put in 15 points. They get 18 points for the Seattle SuperSonics.
You always love to see what coaches do coming out of timeouts, especially in a need situation like this. It looked like they were trying to set up LaMarcus Aldridge with a little post play. Nice deflection there by Seattle, so 13 on the shot clock. Let's see if Portland can get that ball to Brandon Roy and make something good happen.
Shot clock at 4. Mismatch, Green guarding Blake. And picked up by Damian Wilkins. Rebounding is dead even at 45. Both teams shooting about 39% from the field. Screen by Collison. Watson. And Durant shook the defense of Roy and floats in for 2, and he's got 20.
Now, beautiful body control. That time he pulled his dribble up, Kevin. We've talked about his last couple turnovers where he forced the action a little bit too deep. That time he pulled up nicely, hit that little mid-range shot.
Durant was 7 in the 4th quarter. Portland has missed their last 4 from the field.
This guy needs to go to work here and get the ball in his hands. Good things happen.
They rotate to Martell Webster. Late arriving defense by Green. Here comes Watson pressing the issue. In a 5-point game with the Blazers on top, they've led by as many as 14. Sonics have led by as many as 4. Durant trying to bulldoze his way into Roy. Shot clock at 9. Knocked out of bounds.
Beautiful body control. This is that little mid-range game that you've got to be able to get. You don't want to take it all the way to the teeth of the defense. They're sitting back there waiting for you. That little floating mid-range shot. Beautifully done by Kevin Durant.
Frisbilla in for Outlaw. Over Blake, a shot by Watson. And rebound is collected by Jack as Frisbilla was blocking out Collison.
You need to get this ball to Brandon Roy here. He has not taken a shot in a long time. It's been Webster and it's been Outlaw.
He's got 19. Here is block shot Wilkins along with Green defending Aldridge, who's got 5 block shots himself tonight, but very few here in the second half.
Well, what they're doing is they're turning Aldridge away from the basket, and they're running a guy in as a double team from behind, and he's bothering that jump shot. He's got to feel the defense coming.
Jack guarding Wilkins, and look at Collison take it down the baseline with the rebound by Frisbilla. Blazers have not scored from the field in more than 4 minutes. Collison is working on the drive of Aldridge. Durant watching Roy. Watson from behind, reaching in, and a Seattle foul.
That's where I think he's got to be a little bit more selfish. His team has been struggling over the last 4 minutes, and I know Brandon Roy has been struggling a little bit with a respiratory infection, been a little bit under the weather, but recognizing there that his team needs a hoop. They've had guys struggling to get shots, and good thing happens here. He gets to the foul line.
Doug, there was low expectations coming in, looking for improvement. Then they had that remarkable month of December of 13-2. Expectations just completely changed, and the perception of the Blazers and their December coach of the month in the West, Nate McMillan, changed almost overnight. They got the higher expectations surrounding this team. There's a target on their back. The terrain has been a little bit different for this team lately.
Yeah, but I think they kept it all in perspective, understanding when they had that streak that it wasn't that good, and they weren't that good. They got hot at the right time, and Kevin Pritchard and Nate McMillan are both on the same page. They're not going to do anything in the short term. Recognize this is a big picture. They want to be good for 7 or 8 years, not just for 2 or 3.
So you weren't surprised they didn't make a deal?
Absolutely not.
Inside Wilkins slammed in, coming through Jeff Green. Flies in out of the rafters. It's a 3-point game with 1.5 minutes left in regulation. Green is on Aldridge. With the shot clock down to 6. It's Roy guarded by Durant. 2 to shoot over Green. Great defense by Seattle. And a timeout taken by the Sonics and 1:14 to play in a 3-point game.
Well, you can see what's happened. The movement has stopped from Portland. They start playing a lot of one-on-one basketball. Here's a beautiful follow by Jeff Green. And as the ball movement has stopped, the shots have gotten much more contested, more difficult. And Seattle's in a great opportunity here to steal a game on the road.
Blazers are 5 games in back of the 8th slot in the Western Conference. They come in at number 10. But look at the difference between number 1 New Orleans and number 8 Denver. 5 losses. Well, you lose a couple games, Coach, you're going to fall for right on down the list.
Quickly.
No fouls to give either way. You see the timeout situation, 1:14 to play. Wilkins, Watson, Green, Collison, Durant. Watson on Blake. Green is open. Thought about three. Chris Billup comes out on Watson. They kick it to Wilkins. This is a three. And picked up by Blake. That would have tied the game. Portland has missed, Doug, the other way their last 7 consecutive shots.
Yeah, good look at it. But again, Seattle not a good three-point shooting team on the year. They shoot under 34%.
Outlaw trying to set a screen for Blake. Outlaw, great move inside on Collison with the drive. He'll go to the free throw line. 39.9 to play. Let's revisit our Heineken key from about 2.5 hours ago, Doug, and your keys tonight for the game.
Well, you know, Seattle wants to run, and they've got out on the fast break, and that's why they've been able to stay in this game. Plus 16 in the paint. Three-point shooting, only a three-point advantage for Portland. Two teams in different directions, and I would have to say tonight that Seattle's done a nice job of being competitive as they try to develop some young guys. Portland in the fourth quarter trying to hold on here as Seattle looking for their first win all season long after trailing after 3. They're 0-19.
Collison picked up his 4th personal foul. Well, the Portland Trailblazers are plus 4 points at the line. It's a 5-point game. Blazers on top. Just under 40 seconds left in regulation. A good one in the second game of our double dip on TNT NBA Thursday.
Newest member of the Boston Celtics, Kevin Garnett. Bring it home, baby.
Take a look at our game reset again, noticing no fouls to give. Outlaw. Doug is the number 2 bench scorer in the NBA. 23 points against Sacramento Tuesday. 13 came in the fourth quarter tonight. 19 for the game for Outlaw, and 8 have come in this fourth quarter against Seattle.
And they've really gone to him a lot in isolation situations at the top of the floor.
5-point game. Watson works on Blake and takes it to the rack. Collison tips it up and in. He's got the double-double tonight, does Nick Collison, with 13 points and 14 rebounds in a 3-point game, and a timeout taken. And when we come back from a quick break, it's Charles Schwab time to talk.
Do you? Of course. I'm not paying. Schwab is. It's their new checking account. Schwab refunds all ATM fees at any ATM. Plus, they are giving me this ridiculously high interest rate. I mean, my money was just sitting in my old checking account, just kind of sitting there.
Portland has lost 5 in a row. Seattle has won 5 of their last 8. Seattle playing a nice game tonight on the road.
Yeah, and the last possession, they went quickly, which is what they wanted to do, Kevin. Being down 5, you didn't necessarily need a 3. What you needed was a quick score. Right. So they get a tip in, and now when you look at the differential, a little over 6 seconds. So what Seattle's saying is we get a defensive stop here, come down, and a three-pointer sends the game into overtime or a 3-point play. So nice job by Seattle putting themselves in a position here to get one more possession, maybe tie this game.
The Portland Trailblazers, Doug, you mentioned this before, looking for this swagger, trying to recapture the swagger. Games like this is sometimes where you can get it back. You know, a tight game against a foe in your division. This might be a nice way to kind of recapture some of that lost whatever it was they had when they went 13-2 in December.
Well, and they're playing again tomorrow night. So, I mean, you win this game tonight, you got the short trip up to Seattle, and then you hope you can get that game again tomorrow night. So these are two big games here for Portland as they're trying to stay in the playoff race, although it be a long, long shot.
Blazers have not scored from the field in almost 6 minutes. Here is Jack. He hit the last field goal, and it came with 6:13 left in the quarter. Green is on him in a mismatch. 6 seconds. The difference, game clock and shot clock. Now the defensive switch. Collison, he got caught up, and they go inside. A rejection by Collison, who had a moment of indecision. Should he stay on top and defend, or should he drop down low? And that hesitation caused him the foul, the 5th on Collison, and Aldridge will be at the line.
Well, he was trying to help Jeff Green get back, and you talk a little indecision there, but what a great effort, though, to get back into play and not give up the easy score. Jared Jack with a nice little touch pass over the top of the defense, and let's see if Aldridge can push this to a two-possession game.
He is 6 of 7 from the line with 18 points and 12 rebounds.
I think what Nate McMillan likes about this is going to be his 8th free throw attempt, and that's what he talked about us before the game. He's got to start getting to the free throw line.
Good point. Picked up by Green with Seattle timeout. 11 seconds to play. 4-point game. And we take another break on TNT.
Go on, laugh, but it's not easy getting back in shape. That's why we created the 50 Million Pound Challenge. It's a new way to help our community get healthier together. Get started at 50millionpounds.com.
You sure can brew it. Question is, can you sell it? Made our first sale.
More bars in more places. Wherever your business takes you, depend on the network you can trust.
Am I going too fast for you?
Switch to AT&T.
We gotta celebrate. We gotta expand.
AT&T. Your world delivered. Get our exclusive Walkman slider for only $49.99.
Well, a pretty important huddle orchestrated by coach, first-year Seattle coach P.J. Carlesimo. Whatever he was saying, I'm sure it involved the word quick, because something's going to happen very quick in this possession for the Sonics.
Yeah, Portland wants to make them use as much time. They don't want to foul. Seattle out of timeout, so Kevin, they got to get something quickly, something to the rim, get the clock stopped, try to get a steal, then commit a foul, and hopefully you can make this a two-possession game and get a chance maybe to tie this at the end.
Jeff Green to inbound. Defending is Outlaw. Durant got by Roy, goes inside to Wilkins. Coach, you called it, 7.7 on the clock in a 2-point game.
What a tough inbounds pass that was. Jeff Green really did a nice job there of not panicking as a young player, and Durant really went up and took this away from the Portland defender. And this pass, look at him, this little soft pass, the quick score. Seattle now is going to try to get a steal. If not, they'll have to foul, and maybe they can pull a rabbit out of the hat here at the end.
Hyundai believes a test drive of the 2008 Santa Fe should be just that, a test. So aim for potholes, gun it on green, and stop in a hurry. Test anything and everything. Well, almost everything. Come test drive the crossover SUV that beats all others in owner satisfaction.
For a limited time, get 0% financing for 48 months on any new 2007 Santa Fe.
No surprise that Seattle would attack the perimeter where tonight, or attack the inside where Doug tonight. Points in the paint, Sonics are plus 20 over the Portland Trailblazers.
Well, you want to get the ball in the hands of the best free throw shooters. Jared Jack shoots almost 87%. And a 77% for Roy, 76% for Aldridge. You have a timeout, so if you can't get the ball in, take the timeout.
This Jack held by Wilkins, as you call.
And again, Seattle has no timeout, so they're going to have to run this ball the length of the floor. So 2 free throws would put this game almost out of reach, Kevin. I've seen some crazy things happen, but unless Portland would self-destruct and commit a silly foul or do something, 2 free throws will be very difficult for Seattle to be able to go length of the floor in 6-9 and get 4 points.
TNT's Inside the NBA is coming up next. Blazers 7 of 11 in this fourth quarter from the free throw line, now 8 of 12. One more and it'll be over. Jack 4 of 5 from the stripe. 14 points, 6 assists for Jarrett Jack. Here comes Watson. Durant. And the Blazers end their 5-game losing streak. They go to 21-7 at home. They go to 29-25 overall. Sonics drop to 14-39. Our producer tonight, Scott Cockroy. Our director, Lonnie Dale. Special thanks to Sammy Polis, Pat McGrath. Also special thanks to Jeff Paris. For Cheryl Miller and Doug Collins, Kevin Harlan saying so long from the Pacific Northwest, sending you across the country to Atlanta and EJ in Atlanta.
All right, thank you very much, Kev. Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai, comes your way shortly.
He's not like Dikembe Mutombo, is he?
No.
Never late in 16 years.
Here he comes.
Oh, I was watching the debate. Okay.
And he's a little slower at the age of 45. He will be here. Becky's here. David Aldridge is here. Kenny's here.
Barack won.
Going to be all kind of insight, trade talk, all that jazz on Inside next.
You know Dikembe Mutombo, dude. I know you're not.
TNT Saturday. They were brought together by chance and reunited by revenge. 4 brothers. Saturday and Sunday night, starting Saturday night at 8 on TNT. We know drama.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
So as you all know, we've been on a hot streak, and I didn't want to jinx it, so I stopped shaving. But is there anything else we can do to keep things going strong?
Well, you guys really helped us out with our international shipments.
Okay.
We should use FedEx Express for domestic shipments.
Oh, I like that.
And with FedEx First Overnight, we'll deliver by 8:30 a.m. to more zip codes than anyone else.
Okay.
Maybe time to shave the beard.
It has been getting itchy.
Yeah.
Relax, it's FedEx.
I know what that means.
What's it mean?
It means Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai, is coming on your television, even as we speak. Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, Charles Barkley, and our insider David Aldridge, who has been here all night because this was the trade deadline today, and there was some stuff going on. We have talked at length about that 11-player Cleveland situation, Cleveland and Chicago, and